6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Star wide receiver Deebo Samuel, who is entering the final year of his rookie contract, told ESPN's Jeff Darlington that he has asked the 49ers to trade him. Samuel did not provide specific reasons for requesting the trade. Samuel's agent is Torrey Dandy, who also represents A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. Two of the other wideouts who are set for big paydays, also Washington's Terry McLaurin, set for a new deal. Hall of Fame coach Jay Wright retiring after 21 seasons as men's basketball coach at Villanova, just weeks after he led the Wildcats to the Final Four. Wright will take a new role as special assistant to the university's president, Fordham's Kyle Neptune, who spent 10 years under Wright as a video coordinator and assistant coach, will take over as Villanova's coach. To the NBA playoffs, the Sixers defeated the Raptors 104-101. Joel Embiid hit the game-winning three with 0.8 seconds remaining. Celtics over the Nets 114-107. Boston rallied from 17 points down for the win. They now lead that series 2-0. Sixers with a 3-0 lead over the Raptors in their series. Bulls 114, Bucks 110. That one is split at a game apiece. Grizzlies at the T-Wolves, 6:30 tip tonight. That series is tied 1-1. Dodgers 5, Braves 1. LA took 2 of 3 in that set. Atlanta 6-8 to start the season. And the Sounds defeated Charlotte 8-1 for their 4th straight win. Nashville 10-4 to start the campaign. 6:35 first pitch at First Horizon Park tonight. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Rise and shine, Nashville. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Crew is back with you again. Will Bowling in for Jason Martin right here. Pleasure to have you with us. Alongside Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, the best producer in the world.
The best producer in the world.
People are saying, not me, but people, here in the 104.5 The Zone studios. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We're good. Will, you said, I love when people say some people. Well, who the heck is some people?
People are asking.
Will Shiesty back in the building.
People are asking.
People.
All caps.
Who the hell are people, Will?
I don't know, but people.
People.
People and I are close.
That's usually the only answer behind people. Wasn't me, it's people.
This morning, we have the exact reason why Titans fans were concerned about A.J. Brown's tweets, and his name is Deebo Samuel. In case anybody was curious, his name is Deebo Samuel.
Saga.
We've got Deebo Samuel wanting out. We have got Steve Palazzolo. Should we ask Steve Palazzolo today if this is a violence-choosing show, who like the graphic design guy is at Pro Football Focus?
Oh, no doubt about it.
And if he can be, intimidated?
Steve will lean into it. And by the way, self-reported through, who is it, Jeff Darlington from Deebo Samuel.
That's right.
Self-reported.
And then he tweeted out like an hour later, like, only me and my agent really knows. Reporters always be doing stuff.
It's like he's trying to reel it in, and it's like, no. But go ahead, Will. Continue on with the headlines.
Once you break that pillowcase, it's hard to go pick up every feather and put it back in.
I swear. You imagine the task that would be, Will?
Not great.
No, it can't be great, but that's what's happening right before our very eyes, man. But Palazzolo, yeah, he can't wait to have a conversation about this.
It's like trying to go take interceptions you've already thrown and put them back in your hand.
I'm not going to mention them.
6:05 a.m.
I know where you're headed.
I just wanted a calm, slander-free day.
Yeah, you came to the wrong workplace.
And then
you have a secret second job that we don't know about that you meant to show up at this morning, and you showed up at this one?
It's 6:05, which means
I'll take that as a yes.
Which means it's the start of
All right,
WCW wrestling back in the 90s, only that's 6:05 p.m., and here we are.
WCW means Woman Crush Wednesday, back in the old days of Instagram.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all remember those days back on social media when every day would have a different theme?
MCM,
And you put like Man Crush Monday, Tuesdays didn't really have anything. Tuesdays were chill. You had Woman Crush Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Follow Back Friday.
Or Flashback Friday,
Flashback
too.
Friday.
Yeah.
Or you would have
Tuesday.
That's right. You'd have the Friday follow.
What was Tuesday?
Tuesday was Taco
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Okay, for sure.
Until LeBron made it uncool. But no, you'd have Friday follow, and you would start your Friday by tweeting out 10 people that you should follow. That was back when people wanted more Twitter in their lives, and now they want much, much less.
Hey,
Jonathan Schaefer, your thoughts?
No doubt.
The least amount of Twitter possible.
I feel like Schaefer, if he's not looking for a show that's going to be violent and a little
No,
in
not
your
so
own
much a show.
ratchet
I was
today.
like maybe a segment where we could breathe.
Apologies.
Man, I just got to interrupt real quick. We got a legend in the chat this morning.
Do we
man.
really?
Yeah, Alexis Hornbuckle.
No way,
Shout out
nice.
to Lex, man.
Hey.
Love that.
What up, Lex?
Tennessee legend.
Tennessee legend, for real. Savage legend.
Well, she's
Absolutely.
awake before Slay is. So.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. She's up before Slay is, but I actually saw his IG story last night. He had the fire pit going last night.
Did he really?
Yeah, he had the fire pit going, and I saw him like catching the vibe in the backyard. They watched the game on the blow-up big screen. I'm like, luxuries of having an afternoon show, huh?
Club going up on a Wednesday.
Club went up on a Wednesday, man.
Slay out here living his best life.
He is.
Slay, and congratulations to Slay. Well, I didn't know this when he was in here the other day, that he started his 1-year anniversary of working at the Zone with us.
Yeah.
And not 3HL, but with us.
And we not gonna
Smart of
steal
him.
their thunder, but we're gonna take our brown.
But we might take his lightning, but maybe not his thunder.
Yeah. See, lightning can be deadly.
Lightning
though.
comes first.
And he came in and made this network, this station, deadly too, man.
This is true.
Will, the toxic day yesterday, though, man.
Just when you think the NFL offseason is going to calm down for a little bit, I think we're going to have something very interesting happen on the first day or on the first couple days of the NFL draft.
Of the draft. You know what I say daily as we walk into this offseason, Will? We walk into the offseason, and I remember circa 2009 when I first got into the NFL, and 10 and 11 and 12. The early years of my young pro career, the offseason was really the offseason, Will. Like, we didn't, there was really no real news it wasn't real news breaking. There used to be it's been 0 days since an NFL player's been arrested. It was a bunch of those, guys were getting arrested like crazy, okay? Or something they were doing. Not anymore. Right. Will, every day I leave out of this place and say, okay, we got talking points, but what else is going to pop up? And the NFL is operating. It is operating like Suge Knight and Death Row Records. It will not let any other league breathe, Will.
No, it won't.
It will, daily, let me know. We may have had 1 or 2 days where it's just been no or low news.
Right.
But as of recently, the last few years, Will, it's been operating. The NFL has operated like its name is Suge NFL. It's Death Row in the 90s is the way the NFL has been operating, because it is putting its foot on every league's neck. You got playoffs in the NHL. You got playoffs in the NBA. And what leaves most shows?
Oh, it's the NFL.
It's the NFL.
I haven't watched a second of the NBA playoffs.
I've been catching glimpses, but the news that's come through, Jay Wright.
Yeah, Jay Wright retiring.
Come on, man.
We've got that on the list of things to discuss today. We also, speaking of basketball, we're going to get one of the best basketball guys from the city to represent the city, Shan Foster, coming up today at 9 o'clock. But let's run through the entire list here. Robert Mays, we're going to hear from him once again coming up here in a couple of minutes. A great conversation that we had with him. And I thought something really interesting he had to say about Ryan Tannehill and meeting with the media and talking publicly. The words he said, as long as the message is right within the building, who cares? I thought that was interesting. So we're going to hear from him coming up here in a minute. We've got Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus at 7:20. We've got Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers at 8 o'clock. I've got a great one for this. A really good one.
I can't imagine.
I'm excited to complain.
Today's your last day, and I really don't know where you're headed, Will, but
Got nothing to lose.
everybody put on your bulletproof vest.
That's right. Shane Foster coming up at 9 o'clock. Coach Dave McGinnis in the final hour at 9:20. Lots to discuss with Deebo Samuel officially wanting out of San Francisco. You've got Jay Wright retiring, and you've got much more.
Yeah, we didn't speak about Heupel and his recruiting right now.
Right.
We'll actually have him early.
Monday.
Yeah,
Hey,
next week.
there you go.
Like right out of the gate to start the show Monday.
6 a.m.
6:05.
Yeah.
Just like the violence we had today.
That's right.
Vitello is pitching the lemonade stand.
Man, he's like that dude. I was personally offended when Shafe was slandering the name of Tony Vitello in our group text.
No.
No, you were.
Didn't slander.
It was slander.
I added perspective.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I wish
At least
you would.
this time, at least this time when Schaefer texted us, it delivered once. And it didn't send us 2 texts in a row this time.
Yeah.
That's how important my stuff is.
Oh gosh, it's an echo chamber.
You need my shiz twice.
It's echoing every time you text. I didn't want to hear it the first time, and now I got to hear it twice.
I don't want to look at your face, but here we are.
So like every girl I've ever dated. Again,
I can't. We got to stop that, Will.
no, I'm quoting a comedian when I say that.
I know you are. I'm worried about
Are
that
you, though?
sometimes.
No,
Are
I
you
am.
really?
It's a Mike Birbiglia quote.
Yeah,
who's my
I know,
favorite
but
comedian.
wouldn't
But
even
there's
know
truth to
that
all
guy.
jokes, Will. There's always truth to every
You know,
joke.
like that's the thing too. Jokes are actually, what is it? Comedies actually tragedies.
Yeah.
And horror movies are actually comedies. It depends on the viewer. You laugh at your pain.
Most sporting events
Comedy
that
is
I've
pain.
I mean, I just laugh
supported
at
growing
real.
up have
Was that
also
deep?
been horrors.
Is that too deep?
That was
for
too
the show?
deep for 612.
That was
bro.
too deep for the
Yeah,
show.
man, I gotta like.
We can discuss.
I mean, we're
that.
still coming off of 420 yesterday.
I was up too late watching.
It's
I was up too late watching Moon Knight last night. I gotta like. I
How
gotta
late
get in
were
the
you
flow.
up, Will?
Only like 11.
Heard that's really
Only
good.
like 11.
Moon Knight is great.
Yeah.
That's where my brain was when I said you've got a second life that you don't know about, because that's the whole premise of Moon Knight. It's fourth episodes in Marvel TV show. I'm sounding like JMart. Fourth episode of Marvel TV shows are so good.
Man, talk about stepping on a guy's gimmick.
Golly.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
This is a similarity JMart and I have.
The fact that Will leaning in right now, I'm like, yep. It sounds like a guy that's
Look.
not returning, man.
Man. Pots and pears.
We already
Scorched
got-
earth.
Sheesh.
Scorched earth on the final show.
Guy's
this
not
morning.
really an athlete. He's hobbling around. Now you're trying to take his chair.
Look,
Man.
I was an athlete that just turned left and occasionally right.
He's-
We're one and the same.
So you're a NASCAR driver on a road course? Is that what it is?
Fair.
With legs.
Yeah.
With
I'm actually wearing the not really an athlete shirt today.
Yeah, you are.
man.
I like it.
Jason's sitting down having his first cup of coffee this morning. He's complaining about because he's probably not brewing it himself because he's out of town.
Yeah, with either Puerto Rican beans or Guatemalan beans or Ecuadorian beans or
Or African beans.
Uruguayan
I'm gonna
beans.
look and see
Or-
where my beans came from this
Argentinian
morning.
beans.
Or deer beans.
Deer beans?
Sure.
That's called poop.
Sounds like a
That's what that is.
sounds like a band I wouldn't
There-
listen to.
There's this
Sounds like a
one.
Please
band.
welcome to the stage. It is Deer Beans.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds like a band that's playing a
Y'all
pilgrimage.
say
It's an
that
Americana band.
consistently in my neighborhood. Shay's been in my neighborhood, so we're out. There's this deer that's violating it. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Oh dear. Coming up next, Robert Mays of The Athletic. Fun show coming up for you today. JMart and Ramon, powered by all 4 seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Jay, you want to know one of the reasons why this new stadium is coming up? One of the main reasons?
Yeah, of course.
Nissan needed new windows.
It actually did need new windows.
Maybe they should have hollered at our people at Window Nation, because you can get your degree in savings during Window Nation spring break sale, where even if the Titans wanted, they could have got 2 free windows for every 2 they bought, for as many as they needed, and make no down payments and pay no interest for 24
Do it
months.
for the
man.
new stadium, Moan.
Do it
You do
for-
it for the new stadium and you take care of that deal. maybe that valuation, maybe you don't have to spend 2. Maybe you can spend 1.5 if you go to Window
See what
Nation.
I'm saying? They could have got it off right now because it's Windows Nation spring break sale where it's necessary, Jay. With the up and down temperatures we've experienced in the last couple of days, it's difficult sometimes to stay comfortable in your home with old drafty windows, man. So if they are sticking, drafty, cracked, hard to open, or locking when they close, you probably need new windows, Jason.
They measure them 3 times at Window Nation. They're going to make sure that they are fit perfectly. 96% require no follow-up service at all. And then to what he's talking about, cracking and all that, Window Nation uses top-of-the-line materials for a reason. I'm talking mold spray, Quad Max sealant, all the toughest stuff against all weather conditions to make sure your windows are performing exactly the way that they should and your energy is not literally leaking out of your house. The offer is outstanding. 2 free windows every 2 you buy, no down payment, no payments, no interest for 2 full years. Let me say that again, slower. 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. No down payment, no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. That's going to save you thousands. This deal is outrageous. You're only going to see it once this year. Take advantage right now, just like over 100,000 homeowners that can trust Window Nation. 866-90-NATION is your telephone number, 866-90-NATION, or online at windownation.com.
JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons. Happy Thursday. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling with you. Jonathan Schaefer, our producer, where you can join us at 615-737-1045. Let's go to the phones. First word this morning, belonging to Nate, hanging out with us today. What's going on, Nate? Good morning.
Nate.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Good. Good
Good.
morning.
Hey, yeah, man. I just got a couple points I want to make. Look, man, first of all, about Ryan Tannehill, if any other quarterback would have took the hits he took, they wouldn't have made it the season. You know what I mean? I look at it like the playoff game was kind of like a fighter being punch drunk. He took so many hits throughout the season that, man, it was just, I don't know. And then AJ need to prove that he can play 16 games, man. I love AJ, but if I'm John Robinson, I'm not giving him $25 million to play 10 games. And third of all, man, look, I'm kind of disappointed in you guys, man. Y'all talk about player conduct and how players should conduct themselves. And this guy, Tony Vitello, man, he's an idiot, man. He needs to go to Tim Corbett's class of how to conduct himself as a manager, leading young men. And it's just ridiculous how y'all are just giving this guy all this respect, man. Come on, man. And I love you guys, and thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Nate.
You my boy, Nate.
How
I knew
dare
Schaefer.
Tony Vitello raise money for charity?
I knew Schaefer.
Oh, stop.
That's brazen
Stop.
of him.
You know what
Hey,
that
Shave.
whole scheme is.
Hey, Shave,
No.
can you spot the lie for me?
No.
All right, thanks.
See, it's easy to go and do something as a gimmick and be like, oh, I'm doing it for charity. So once you use charity as a cover to do the gimmick, then everything's fine. You're smarter than that.
Oh, here we go.
If Tony Vitello, going to the Tim Corbin School of Managing, he wouldn't be first in the country right now. He would have gotten swept by
He might have a couple
his
rings,
in-state
though.
rival.
Well,
At 37?
Yeah, I'd almost say this too. Nate, you're right. You gotta have it's gonna be both sides when you got a coach like this. You just do. It's gonna be both sides. I do think there should be some fun in the sport, in the game. There's a certain way to do it.
College baseball.
Is it too much with Tony?
No.
Is it too much with the team?
No. It's college baseball.
It's college baseball.
This is what baseball is. It's a sport that is meant to be stupid.
So
What?
no,
It
I wouldn't
is.
go that far.
Because
that
it's
mean?
not the best players that you could have like college football is, because the best players are going straight to minor league baseball. It's not all business there. It's just not.
So let me gather my thoughts on this Vitello comment as far as it goes. So we hold players to a higher standard when they're having fun. No, not really. Guys that go out and throw balls into the stands, they celebrate. The NFL's actually released it to where they can go do their thing now.
Yep.
We've seen Ja in Memphis. They're hitting the gritty every time they do something wild and crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Who was it? Was it Patrick Beverly who was standing on the scores table after winning a play-in game in the NBA
a
playoffs?
play-in game.
How dare you?
So Pat Beverly's situation. Okay, let's start with that one. Like, we're celebrating one win. Just beating a team.
Right.
Into the playoffs. You celebrate how you're gonna celebrate. The thing is, when that pendulum swings the other way, my thing is, I tell anybody, look, do what you're going to do, but the pendulum eventually swings the other way, and be able to accept what's coming your way. I think that's the same thing that happened with Tony Vitello. I said Vitello. And the other part of it too, Lane does it as far as the way it goes too. The comparison of one and the other. I am comparing one another. When it comes to this generation of relating and coaching, well, I know we're probably going to wait to get into the Jay Wright,
Sure.
Coach K. Who else is bowed out? I'm shocked Izzo hasn't.
Roy Williams.
Just yet. Roy Williams. Izzo still holding on. Who's Syracuse coach?
Jim Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim. We saw yesterday, who was it? Peter Burns, who's pretty much saying that he's holding on to the fact that Nick is getting out after this year. He actually put that out. I don't know if it was a parody or what. But it's a different era of gaming.
Yeah.
I think this about Vitello. I think he drives his guys. I think he tells them to play the game with a certain respect.
Yeah.
But it's the other side of it too. He said one of the things he hated as a player was what? He didn't have enough fun in the game.
Right.
And there's a respectful way to do it. Tony, of course, I know what Shafe's going to say. You can't do this and say it's charity, but at the same point, go to your hole and don't come out until suspension's over.
The difference between Tony Vitello and Lane Kiffin is Lane Kiffin broke a lot of rules by the NCAA.
Sanctions. Yeah.
By the point in his career that Tony Vitello was at. And Tony Vitello has 0 NCAA rule violations in his career. So that's where that argument and that comparison doesn't work for me. He's Bruce Pearl at this point.
I want to hear Shafe's. That's so you stand on like Tony got to pipe down?
No.
Or
I
where?
don't.
Where are we at?
Here's the deal. I don't really have any issue with Tony Vitello
He's
whatsoever.
projecting Tennessee fans that he's annoyed with because of how good they are at baseball on Tony Vitello.
No, I don't have an issue with that either. I don't care that Tennessee's good at baseball or not. That's fine.
Not many people
I
probably do,
because
you know?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's great that they are. I think it's great that they're villains and that there's a rivalry. And I think that Vitello's a character and he's bringing this attention. And you're right about the Bruce Pearl thing. And I was here for the start of the Bruce Pearl World
I
Tour.
remember it well.
That took place. And by the way, speaking of sanctions, they might have been silly, but Pearl had the same issues at Tennessee and then ended up having issues at Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Vitello's had none of those problems. His kids haven't had any problems. The only one that's even kind of, I don't care about the pimp code. Do whatever you want with the pimp code. It's silly.
And they've already
but it's
outlawed it.
Hey, well, and again,
Kind of.
I don't care.
Okay.
And like the daddy hats are weird to me, but fine. I didn't like the kid touching the home plate thing, and I don't care if
Yeah.
you want to say it was an homage to anything. I'm not buying that either. I have no problem with him going out and doing the hugs thing and the gimmick. I'm all for a good gimmick. The gimmick's fine. Now, Will, you are smarter than to be, you know better than, it's like, oh, this is for charity, it's for charity. It's easy to say it's for charity and then justify any action you want to do along with it because it's like it's for charity.
He turned a.
It's an that
he's done it
that's
before,
easy.
though. Like,
no, and again, I don't have a problem with that. My problem was justifying, well, it's for charity. Do you hate these things because it's for charity?
No, I'm with you on that one.
We're better than that.
he's
I can
turning a
call
bad
that a-
situation into something that can be good.
For $2. He's making a mockery of the suspension and probably the umpire, too. I'm with
I
Shafe
wouldn't
on
say
that one.
mockery, but it's one of those like, you see me winking at you type of things. It's that type of situation. But my issue is that the man has just, he is the big bang of the entire universe and the hero worship and how this man has been put on this pedestal already. And it's the same fear that I have for Vols fans that I have with Titans fans is that have fun, enjoy yourself, but just take a breath because what you end up doing is getting yourself revved up so hot, so quickly, so fast that the moment there's an adversity, there's a moment that there's a letdown, everything just becomes this crushing thing. Vitello's being lifted to this ridiculous pedestal that I don't understand yet. And he may end up winning a College World Series and multiple national championships, and that is fantastic. And for Tennessee, that's the case. And again, I love the rivalry that Tennessee and Vanderbilt are developing and the difference between the two managers and the different styles. But this hero worship and this putting him on this lofty pedestal now, I don't get it.
Here's the thing. Sports are meant to be fun. We know this to be true. When you win a championship in a sport, you kind of have a little bit of an empty feeling to it because the journey that it takes you to get to winning a title is 60% of it. It's 50% of it at least. In the joy that you feel when you win a title, why not enjoy it? I don't understand why college baseball can't be something that you don't have to take so seriously. I don't view college baseball the same way I view college football or the NFL. It's a stupid, wonderful, quirky sport. And the ugliness of the bad defense, the Sunday starters that you get in college baseball, the celebrations that you get, I just don't take it that seriously. I love the sport. My brother was the public address announcer when Tennessee was going to the College World Series last time. Like, I remember Craig Cobb and Julio Bourbon and, Luke Kochaver and all those guys. Like, I just like college baseball because it's stupid and wonderful. And so I want to enjoy the path that Tennessee is taking to get to the top because the path there is half of the fun. It's more than half of the fun. Because once you win a title, it's kind of like, okay, well, it's kind of over now. That's it. So
it is, but it's
again.
the platform that you're building up to get to that point too. For me, it's this. as far as Tennessee fans go and UT in itself goes. I wasn't around in the golden era. Like social media wasn't what it was, number one. You got the news and you got celebrations through what? Calling in the radio stations or seeing it in the paper, conversing in your local barbershop, grocery store, neighborhood, and stuff like that amongst your friends. I do think the era in which Tennessee left and hasn't been back to in almost any sport except for women's basketball, men's basketball, football has been below the line, starting to trend up, and then fall off to Shafe's point. There's always something that knocks you down. The same thing goes for basketball, too. You be a 2-3 seed this year, lose in the second round, didn't make it to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, anything like that. That's going to be the natural occurrence of what sports is to me. But in the meantime of the journey in which you're progressing down, I think you do celebrate. I think if every coach was the same, then you know what? What would it be then? Is there a book for how to be a coach? Is there a book for how to celebrate? Is there a book to how to fall from grace when it is your time? Also, no, it's not. I think this fan base that we have, and we know what it is here in Tennessee, you go. Everybody is looking for something from the University of Tennessee, primarily football. And now you got a guy that's controlling the SEC East at least. We'll see what Arkansas does.
Yeah.
But as far as to say that he's in the last couple of years, he's laid down a foundation with this Tennessee baseball fan base. And he also has come out and said he didn't have enough fun when he played baseball. It became stagnant to him. And now he's in a position to where when you win, you can do certain things. Yep. The same way we speak about these wide receivers right now in this negotiations in the NFL. When you're in the position to do those things, you do them. A lot of people hate Aaron Rodgers. Hate him.
Right.
Because of how he's operating. You know why he does that? Because he has that power to go do it. Mm-hmm. You go out and prove you're the biggest, baddest thing in the neighborhood. Guess what? It's your streets.
Yep.
And right now, is Vitello and his guys are doing it, and it's attracting a lot of attention. And you know what? For a sport that's low-hanging fruit when it comes down to what do we want to talk about, or is no fruit there, this is something I think the NCAA is probably proud of.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate, and I know it. It's the same way the Vanderbilt fan base loves the Whistler.
Oh, God.
Or it's a part of their celebration. I ain't going to say they love him. But that guy right there is embraced by his community. There's pushback from it. But on the other side of it, Tennessee fans are embracing what Tony Vitello is bringing to a university that has what, Will? Let's be real. You're a UT alum.
Yeah.
How has it been as far as the ride up and down that rocky top? It's been rocky.
It has been. And that university now, and we're not going to talk about a ton of non-revenue sports because people don't really care outside of the ones that make all the money, but that athletic department has not been as good of a place as it's in now in a really long time across the board. My thing is just across sports, we complain when we get canned answers and corny answers from athletes and coaches.
Yeah, we do.
And then we complain when they're themselves and they're authentic and they don't care what anyone else thinks and they just live their lives. And then it's, why he's doing too much? He should pipe down and be like everyone else. Why? Why do we try to put people in those boxes? I don't get it. You can't have it both ways. 615-737-1045. Let's go to John in Murfreesboro.
What's up, John?
Up next on the show. Good morning, John.
Good morning, everybody. So, y'all know me. I'm not the world's biggest UT fan by any stretch of the means. But I'll say this. I love baseball, and I love watching UT baseball. Like, they've almost made me a fan. Almost. Like, I can't quite bring myself to do it, but I love it because I played baseball all the way up through high school. I got hurt playing football because I was two sports. And when I couldn't play anymore, it was crushing to me.
Yeah.
But I can remember exactly what Tony was saying. You had all these stuffy zealots of the unwritten rules of baseball, and you hit the ball and you run the base, and you're always quiet, you're always respectful. Heck no, have fun with it. This is supposed to be it's supposed to be the most beautiful, most amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you draw kids into the game. It's having fun. Go watch the Savannah Bananas. They're like a single A team that they're the goofiest team in the world. They're on TikTok, but they are I would drive to Savannah to watch them play before I'd pay for a Braves ticket.
Wow.
They're that much fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be fun, and I don't get it. So somebody who is in many fans' eyes a heretic like Tony Vitello, who just wants to have fun with it, man, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
Tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. Let's have some fun with it.
There it is.
Thank you for the call,
Appreciate it,
John. Appreciate it. I think it's a good point. Let's go rapid fire here. Let's go back to the phones again. Let's go to Eric here in Nashville talking about Mr. Tony V. What's going on, Eric?
What's up, Eric?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
You know, hey, if you think what Tony Vitello did bumping the umpire was bad, just go on YouTube and look up Earl Weaver umpire fight.
Uh-huh.
Okay? It's from the 80s. You won't be able to play it on the radio just because you might get kicked off the FCC or whatever, whoever controls it. But trust me, some of the language in there make you have to probably go do a couple Hail Marys. But okay, it's baseball. It's baseball. The great Willie Stargell had a saying. When the umpire starts the game, he says, play ball, not work ball. It's a game played by adults who are still kids at heart.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you don't sit the opponent. You don't sit there and stare at the home run after it's been hit and everything else. But, the Toronto Blue Jays, every time a guy hits a home run, they put on a blue blazer.
Mm-hmm.
Boston Red Sox player hits a home run, they got a buggy in the dugout. They push them one end to the other. But I don't see that. Just let them play.
Yeah.
But, you know what? It's baseball. If you don't like it, don't watch. And there's another quote, Reggie Jackson. They don't boo nobodies. Y'all have a good rest of the day, gentlemen.
Thank you for the call, Eric.
Don't boo nobodies.
Baseball is also the only sport where you can celebrate and it doesn't delay the rest of the game. Like when you're in the dugout, at least.
Yeah.
Like if you're like crab walking around the bases and like doing the moonwalk as you touch home, like, yeah, okay, probably. But like it's a sport where you can be in the dugout and have your props and do all the things, but it's not, it's not a sack celebration that takes 60 seconds that then delays the next play in a football game.
Yeah, it's to me the game. What's crazy? This is actually my one of my Bleep You Aaron Rodgers is baseball.
Okay. Mine's
Just,
for baseball too.
Is it like fully just and for the reason of the gatekeepers. Like there's a lot of banter that goes on in ball. There's a whole like coaches will. It's funny with this. We got to go into the break. We'll get more.
Yeah, let's do it on the other side.
Yeah.
Lots to discuss here this morning, and Tony Vitello slander that I will not stand for. By God, I won't have it. JMart Ramon, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Imagine if the first way we did things was the only way and they just stayed that way for what felt like forever. Well, that's what's happening when it comes to selling your home. You list your house and you got to keep your show ready because you never know when somebody want to come by for what they call a quick look. Or you have dozens of people marching through your home that may or may not be serious about buying. And this goes on and on until the right buyer comes along. Well, that's all changed thanks to Open Door. And it's Ramon Foster, and I want to tell you what I did. I went to opendoor.com and I put in my address and a little bit of my home info, and I got an offer back in no time. What Open Door does is to take a look at your house along with recent sales in your neighborhood to come up with a very competitive offer, a real offer with no listings, no strangers, no stress, and a real competitive offer in minutes. Just go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer. Open Door is a new way to sell without all the hassles of a traditional home selling. Thing is, you know how much you'll get and you can close when you're ready, and the best thing is you can do it all online. Go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer today. That's opendoor.com/WGFX. And offer eligibility varies. And Open Door represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 020611130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC in its other markets.
JMart Intermode, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone. It's fitting that Jonathan Schaefer plays All I Do Is Win when we're talking about Tennessee baseball. It's kind of all they do. I'm smugly gonna hype Tony Vitello up now in every segment just to annoy Jonathan Schaefer.
You think I care that much?
I don't, but I'm going to do it anyway. Will Bowling, Ramon Foster, and Jonathan Schaefer here with you this morning. Let's go back to the phones. You can join us at 615-737-1045. We're going to have a little early Risers Club interview from Robert Mays. That has now been thrown into the can.
Nah, go listen to the podcast.
104.5 The Zone Podcast Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's there?
Go back to the phones. Big Orange Mac hanging out with us this morning. Good morning, Big Orange Mac.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I got a message for everybody out there that, the University of Tennessee's been down for a while. People's had their foot on their throat. Mm-hmm. Now that we got something to crow about, they can't stand it. Especially our friends over on West End at Peabody. Over here. The one thing that they had in their possession was baseball, and we come and snatched it away from them. We took their soul like the devil at the crossroads. now that we took that from them, they ain't got nothing left. So you can keep your old man rules of baseball and the bandy whistler and all that. That's fine. The big orange train is a-coming. We coming barreling down the track, son. Get ready. Oh, well, they ain't won we won't win a national championship. Tony V's going to get it done. And by the way, look, we the new villains now. We don't care. Look, nobody likes Tennessee. That's why nobody like you. Hey, newsflash, we don't care, baby. We don't care. We give zero, okay? You don't like us, that's fine. I'd rather you hate me than treat me like one of Jerry's kids, a charity case. Don't do that to me. I want you to hate me. Start hating Tennessee again. Have a great day and go Big Orange.
Thank you, Mac.
Jerry's kids.
Great call.
See, but here's the thing. Y'all do care. You like to own this villain.
That's because you
really don't.
You know why?
That we're villains and y'all don't. But then anytime there's even like the little bit of national disrespect, y'all lose your mind and you validate that voice.
I don't think
you say that you don't care about it all. It's hypocritical.
I don't think there's been a single iota of national disrespect though for Tennessee baseball because there's no possible way that you.
No,
could
I'm saying about the whole
the
University
base.
of Tennessee landscape.
I think the villains thing is more of a baseball thing. Outside of Twitter, and Twitter's not real life.
It still is too, because you know why? Football has not become that. It's assumed to be that too. Because the one thing that you do well as of recently, Nico, that commitment. What happened with that commitment as far as the conversation around it?
A lot of people saying he's just, Tennessee dropped him a bag. It's the only reason a kid like that would ever want to go to Tennessee.
And let's go back a few years before. What got Pruitt and his group can? The money also, right?
Yeah.
Who also plays these same games? Every other university in America.
They were smarter at it.
Who's also so when Lincoln Riley leaves Oklahoma and he immediately snatches their starting quarterback and on top of incorporates two other 5 stars too.
Right.
It's the same stories. But it's when Tennessee does it, I think it's every fan base. It's legitimately every fan base that goes behind it. And again, to the last caller we just had, we've been down as a university. I can admit that. And it's cool. You know what? Let's go through this glutton of punishment every single year.
Sure.
And soon as something decent happens to the University of Tennessee, it's the reason why it's happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hypo can't play. Hypo can't win in SEC. And guess what? He wins 7 and all types of other things.
Sure.
And then he can't recruit. And then he starts doing that. He can't get a good coaching staff. And then he does that. It's like, well, up until now, the points that you're knocking have actually been checked off the board.
Yeah, he's done a good job so far.
And it's
covering
that
his weaknesses.
And I'm looking at the history of these programs too, as of recently. Of course, we're speaking about baseball. Mississippi State, you've got 1 national championship
in sports ever.
1. Vanderbilt has 2 national championships in baseball.
Yeah.
Now, the consistency of what those 2 programs have done, hey, it's fine. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
But to say that you're powerhouses and just like, okay, 2 national championships in baseball is very hard. Very hard. Right. I admit that. What Corbin has done is phenomenal. It's legendary. He will walk in as a college football Hall of Fame coach while still coaching if he wants to.
College baseball.
College baseball. Yeah, my bad. College baseball. He is that type. He attracts everybody to the university just by his name, and that V used to be the Star V. Okay?
Rip in peace.
By the way, their AD yesterday was awesome on 3HL.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Candace Lee Story.
Yeah,
doctor.
Story Lee.
Yeah, Candace Story Lee, doctor, by the way. And like state, because we're having comments about that in the chat, and I'm just like, you got one in the entire existence of your university.
College baseball is a big bandwagon sport too.
But it's weird to me, and maybe it's because we're in this state and everybody deals with these things too, but you can't cry when the rabbit got the gun now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at, and I can't wait to get to this Bleep You Aaron Rodgers.
I can't wait. I saw a Vandy fan last year say that Vandy is the Alabama football of baseball. They're Clemson is what they are. That's what they are. They've got a really, really good coach.
Yeah.
Who has created a machine. But let's not get it twisted. You're still not close to what Alabama has achieved in football. Don't disrespect Alabama by comparing yourselves to that level of dominance. No one is that level of dominance since
Bryant.
Gino Auriemma and John Wooden.
And Pat.
Yeah, and Pat Summitt.
Yeah, and Pat Summitt.
615-737-1045, the number. When we come back, let's get back into the NFL headlines a bit. We'll take more of your calls. If any of you want to slander Tony Vitello, it's probably not the show.
And you know what I'll say too, just to get my, if you don't like it, don't allow them or stop it.
Yeah.
That's usually the Patriots. We couldn't stop them. What am I going to, I can't trash them. Yeah. Stop it.
They're better.
We couldn't stop it.
Right.
That's almost any team in NFL. I mean, stop it if you don't like it.
It's a good point. Speaking truth. 1 hour down. Quickly. Flew by. We got 3 more coming up for you. So don't go anywhere. We got more NFL coming up next. We got Steve Palazzolo coming up at 7:20. Lots more to discuss on this Thursday morning. 104.5 The Zone.
If you're noticing around your home, doors and windows sticking, you got cracks in your bricks, concrete not level, you got a bowling basement wall, your chimney's leaning, all of them are signs of foundation issues with your home. How serious is it? You don't know, but you got to find somebody that you can trust that can come in that's going to tell you what's going on and sometimes tell you it's not as serious as maybe you feared. And some companies aren't going to do that. Some companies are going to find a way that it's always more serious. You know those mechanics. Those horror stories of mechanics where you just might as well show up with your entire bank account because they're going to take it, even if all you needed was an oil change and a new tire. USS, United Structural Systems, has been here for over a quarter of a century. They're the opposite of the mechanics I just described. Integrity's off the charts. A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau. Locally owned, but more than anything, peace of mind. They are problem solvers. And their solution is often more simple than you would think. If it's complex, it's complex. But they're going to come out and tell you exactly what is and is not happening with your home. They come out and give you a detailed free estimate. They're going to tell you exactly what's going on. They're going to diagnose the problem and tell you what it's going to cost to get that taken care of. Sometimes that number is 0, which we always want to point out. But you get to make the call, and then they do the job, and then you pay. That's the order it should be in. Over 22,000 satisfied customers can tell you this is a phone call you got to place. Do it today if you're having issues or if you're afraid you're having issues. You need somebody that can look at it with an expert eye and tell you what you don't know. 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275. Visit them online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems.
7:03, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Star wide receiver Deebo Samuel, entering the final year of his rookie contract, told ESPN's Jeff Darlington he wants out from the 49ers, wants to be traded. Samuel did not provide specific reasons for requesting the trade. Now, Samuel's agent is Torrey Dandy, who also represents A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, two of the other wideouts who are set for paydays. Hall of Fame coach Jay Wright retiring after 21 seasons as men's basketball coach at Villanova, just weeks after he led the Wildcats to the Final Four. Wright will take a new role as a special assistant to the university's president, Fordham's Kyle Neptune, who spent 10 years under Wright as a video coordinator and an assistant coach, will take over as Villanova coach. NBA playoff action last night, Sixers over the Raptors 104-101. Joel Embiid hit the game-winning three with 0.8 of a second left in that contest. Celtics 114, Nets 107. Boston rallied from 17 down for the victory. Bulls 114, Bucks 110. Grizz at Minnesota. Grizz taking on the T-Wolves at 6:30 tonight. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. Dodgers 5, Braves 1 yesterday. LA took 2 of 3 in the series. Atlanta 6-8 to start the season. Travel day today will take on the Marlins tomorrow. Sounds defeated Charlotte 8-1 for their 4th straight win. Nashville 10-4 to start the campaign. 6:35 first pitch at First Horizon Park, of course, weather pending. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your Over the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 off and running this morning on a Thursday edition. JMart and Ramon, powered by all 4 seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Great to have you with us. Alongside Jonathan Schaefer, our producer, Ramon Foster sitting to my left. I am Will Bowling, a very well-deserved day off for our guy Jason Martin.
Yeah.
Coming up in 15 minutes, Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus. We hit the NFL headlines with him, talk about the biggest holes on the Titans roster heading into the NFL draft per the Pro Football Focus estimation. And we also ask Steve Palazzolo why in the world Pro Football Focus on social media is trying to make a trade between the Tennessee Titans and the San Francisco 49ers.
Why have they
Deebo
lost their
Samuel
mind?
for A.J. Brown. Oh, wow. We're having trouble signing this wide receiver that is on an expiring rookie contract. I know it'll fix it. Let's go trade for another wide receiver that's on an expiring rookie contract. That's a great idea. Idiots. Not everyone should have access to Al Gore's internet is what I've decided.
Stupid idiots.
Thank you.
Gosh. Well, that really got you going right there,
They
man.
do.
That really got you going. Like the business of it made no sense to you. And you're done with it, basically, is what you're telling me.
The business of what?
Football, whoever that was. Let's trade one for another that's in
It's
the
just
exact same situation.
the business of bad social media posts has me ready to just
There you go.
Throw my
It's
phone into the
social
Cumberland
media
River.
aspect.
615-737-1045.
Don't do that to your phone.
I
Your
know.
phone didn't hurt you.
Case is already messed up. I still got to go replace my phone.
We have the
Why
same
ASAP?
case, too.
Why are you getting
Yeah, we
rid of
do.
your phone? Your phone didn't cause the problem. Why take it out on your phone?
I don't know.
That's Will Bowling like things, man.
I mean,
Such a bully.
I throw my putter when I miss a putt.
Will Shiesty. By the way, the dude we named you after, man, is he's got 5 years in prison.
I mean, you are
Oh,
Will
does it really?
Shiesty.
Yeah, you're Will Shiesty, though.
Perfect.
Just don't get 5 years in prison.
I'll remember that. So the San Francisco 49ers
I'll remember that.
and Deebo Samuel have had a deteriorating relationship, and now per ESPN's Jeff Darlington yesterday, Deebo Samuel wants a trade.
Of course.
Declined to offer on specific reason for requesting the trade, but acknowledged that he has informed the team of his desire to leave. Is this as simple as the Jacksonville Jaguars ruined wide receiver contracts for everyone this offseason?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That
Just wanted to make sure.
Jags did, and I would say Miami jumped into that boat. Like they rising tide? What is it? Rising tide raises all boats.
That's right.
It's pretty much what's happening right now. And this is the part of the show now, not our show, but the NFL show, in which is caught up to the full business of it. Like it used to be a game, and you were told, "Hey, go do this. You should do this." Hey, that's not the way to operate. We've heard all those things for so long, and there was only one group of guys that were able to operate like this, and it was the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks had the quarterback clubs, but in the pre-93s, when it came down to the league and free agency and stuff like that, and they were the only ones that have this power. Now we're in an era of guys have learned more. The agents are actually informing their guys more. You have guys that see other players get this type of exposure, number one, get these type of contracts, and the first thing they say, well, I want some of that too. I got the power to do it. Right. The most I would have never thought Cooper Kupp would have been in this position. But guess what? Fresh off of a Super Bowl. He led the leagues in yards. He did everything in receptions and touchdowns, I think, last year.
Right.
And you know what he said after Tyreek got his? Well, the business say, I operate like he does, if not better, in the last year that I had. So let me go get some of what he got.
Right.
Maybe I don't want the whole cake that he got, but I'm not playing for $14 million right now, especially when I'm not about to be in a – so there's one position that's pretty much exempt from it, and it sucks because of it. It's the running back position.
Right.
Now that you have guys that play wide receiver that have become just as important as the guy that's spinning the ball around the field, now they realize my valuation is up. And because of that, I'm more healthy than most of the guys that you're going to pay. I'm always available. And as long as the quarterback that you're paying close to $40 million give me the ball, I deserve to go get paid. Matthew Stafford's going to throw to Cooper Kupp, right?
Of course.
Ryan Tannehill will throw to A.J. Brown, right?
Right.
Tua Tagovailoa will throw to Tyreek Hill.
Right.
It's going to happen. Derek Carr will throw to his weapons. They're going to go get there. So because of that, pay me accordingly. The information out there now is so vast. We speak about these young guys that's getting paid around the league too, and that's what's happening. But they're making just as much money in their rookie deals as they are like off the field.
Right.
Like AJ, I'm sure his endorsements are through the roof because of why.
Sure.
He commands that, so why wouldn't I go ask for more money in the office?
I think that agents also now have a proof of concept of how easy it is to manipulate the salary cap. That because of the pandemic and how much deferred money general managers had to come up with, now it is easier to concoct a contract that is in the best interest of the player later in their careers. Mm-hmm. And they make the cap money look bigger even though it isn't on the front end of a contract, because you can put down a certain amount of money on a signing bonus and make that cap hit a little bit less and try to lengthen your Super Bowl window by a first 2 years of a contract, like the Titans did with Bud Dupree. This is the exact same way. The Titans have a Bud Dupree cap hit that goes from, I believe, $5.5 million last year to $18 million this year because of the way they were able to pay him up front and use the signing bonus to get him signed up, but in a way that benefits them long term and maximizes their window right now. I think that's the interesting part, is that agents realize the power that they have to manipulate a salary cap that isn't as rigid as perhaps we thought it was in the past.
And you know what? Also, that's behind this, as far as Deebo, AJ, DK, Scary Terry, and anybody else for that matter, is this same information that the NFL pushes out. Will, to your point, players understand it. Apple just put in a bid for what? I think they said
NFL Sunday Ticket.
I think they're saying the deal is pretty much done.
I'm a big fan of that, by the way.
That deal in itself is paying the league $2.5 billion.
It's insane.
A year. They're one entity of the money that's going into this league, into the owners' pockets. Like, and this is the other part too, if we're going to be real about what the NFL is. People here are complaining about their tickets and going up, the ticket prices going up in the stadium and whatnot. But guess what? The ticket prices don't really incorporate as much as what the TV deals are paying, as much as DraftKings is paying, as much as all of those other investments that are pouring into the NFL. We're talking about one business, Apple, paying for the rights to stream Sunday Ticket. They're giving the league $2.5 billion.
Right.
So
Pretty
with
good.
that money being thrown into it, the players know, look, y'all say what you want to, but the prices are going up.
Yeah.
And because of that, we need a little bit more of that share.
Right. Absolutely.
But nobody complains about the owners.
It's always it is an interesting case study in fan psychology that fans often in these situations side with the team and side with the contracts rather than the guys trying to get what they deserve. I'm preaching to the choir here.
Weird. It's not weird. Why? Because the team never leaves. Players do. The team never leaves. But in all the complaints towards AJ or Deebo right now, the owners are about to cash. They're about to split up 32 different ways, $2.5 billion.
Team never leaves unless you're a St. Louis Rams fan.
Well, or threatening Chicago Bears fan.
When we come back, we hit all the headlines with Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus, and I'm curious to get his thoughts on A.J. Brown's value and his versatility and Deebo Samuel's versatility and how that affects each of their values respectively. Plus, we've got to yell at him for his employer's social media.
Oh, we have to.
He can only do so much with that. Let's be fair.
I'm kidding. Not really. But no. JMart and Mo, powered by all four seasons, 104.5 The Zone.
As leaders in disaster cleanup and restoration, the pros at ServPro are prepared for anything, like when the relief valve on your water heater fails, pouring gallons of water into your finished basement. Guess what? ServPro is prepared for that. Or when the electrical shortage in your office causes extensive smoke and water damage, ServPro is prepared for it, okay? Or that musty odor indicates you might have a mold problem. ServPro is prepared for that too, and you need a lot more than just help cleaning up. That's why ServPro is your one-stop shop when disaster strikes. Not only do they have the equipment and expertise to clean up damage from fire, water, or mold, but they also offer a variety of construction services ranging from drywall patching and document drying all the way up to complete structural rebuilds. There's just one call you need to make to bring your home or business back as good as new and as soon as possible. And if you're in the need of cleanup from fire, water, or any unpleasant event, ServPro is always ready to help. So call ServPro and the official downtown Nashville operators at 800-ServPro to see how we can help you get back to like it never even happened. The number is 1-800-ServPro. ServPro, cleaning, restoration, construction, and franchises are independently owned and operated.
Thursday edition, JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons. Crew's all here. Jason Martin, very well-deserved day off. I'm Will Bowling, filling in for JMart alongside Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. As we hit the NFL headlines, talk a little bit of Titans here in hour number 2 of the show. We are pleased to be joined on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline by Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus. Steve, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's always good to have another baseball guy on the show. Jonathan Schaefer tells me that I'm not alone now in being a baseball guy here on this show this morning. I'm getting yelled at basically by Jonathan Schaefer for liking celebrations and liking fun. No, but I'm projecting this onto you.
That's not true.
So I just want to let you know, Steve, that we've got a producer here that just hates fun.
That's not true.
Is what's going on.
No, we can't have that. No, baseball's still good. Gotta appreciate it.
So let me ask you this, Steve. Welcome to the show, by the way, man. We found out, well, Jason was let down last week because he found out Sam was actually taller than he thought he was. He thought Sam was like 5'1". Okay? He wanted to believe that. But on the baseball side of things, do you like celebrations in baseball? Is it fun for you? And I know you were a pitcher, but where do you hang on that spectrum of fun, no fun when it comes to baseball?
I think, yeah, first off, yeah, Sam's a pretty average-sized individual, so that's my bad for making him look like he's 5'5" or whatever you guys thought. I think baseball players are just babies and childish, and that was me included when I played. So the whole, you get offended when people do anything, so you have to throw a ball at them. And as I've matured and gotten old, I think that's all just so stupid and ridiculous. So I think anything that's going to let baseball just not die. So fun is good for baseball, I think, and players overall need to just get over themselves and stop getting offended by everything, and all the old rules and the nonsense needs to go away. So have fun with baseball. Let players have fun and make that part fun for fans, so that the game doesn't go away, because it's a tough game, and today's atmosphere of quick hitting everything. It's a slower game, so got to have fun with it.
I like it.
There we go.
I like it. All right, let's get into the NFL conversation here with Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus. Steve, is the 49ers front office angry at Kyle Shanahan right now for making Deebo Samuel so versatile and making this contract negotiation so complicated? What is the logical ending to this? Because it feels like there's got to be another, at least one or two twists to the story of Deebo Samuel in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I was joking the other day, like, you don't want to draft players who are too good, because eventually they're going to want to leave you, and that's sad. So you don't want to draft too well.
Right.
But the Niners with Kyle Shanahan, him making Deebo Samuel into this incredible weapon, it probably makes him more valuable. But I also think it might be inflated value, right? Because I don't know if Deebo Samuel is going to go to another team and carry the ball the way he did as a running back, rush for another 500 yards and 9 touchdowns, maybe, but. Yeah, there is this element of the Niners helped create him, but the Niners and Shanahan also have this history of taking whatever they have and making that valuable as well. So that makes it tricky as far as their decisions and what to do with Deebo Samuel. Obviously, he wants out now, but I think it ultimately ends up, and they end up trading him, and they get a nice little haul, and it becomes this awesome investment for the Niners for 3 years of Deebo Samuel and whatever they get for him, but you don't get that long-term payoff of having just an awesome player on your team.
It's so interesting, and we were talking about it earlier on the show. Like, is it as simple as Jacksonville's deal for Christian Kirk basically just ruined the wide receiver market for everyone else? Like, it literally seems like it might be that simple to me.
It is a little bit, but it's that in combination with DeAndre Hopkins' deal ruining things for everyone. So he was making $5 million more than any other receiver going into last year, and it felt like there were receivers who wanted to get up to that point, and we just teams weren't ready to go there yet. And then Jacksonville doing that with Christian Kirk, it's all of a sudden it's like, okay, now the market has changed. I also think the NFL is valuing these playmakers more than ever. I think you're starting to see that receivers are actual game changers. You see what A.J. Brown has helped, dude for that Tennessee offense right there. Receivers are game changers, and they are worth more money, I think, than teams thought before previously. But so I think it's a combination of all those things. But yeah, the Christian Kirk deal absolutely has an influence here as well.
Steve, man, it's we were having that discussion right there a second ago about, it's only been one group for so long that's been able to hold that type of power, and it's been the quarterbacks, man. With the way that you guys grade and rate teams, and I know you don't adjust the lines when it comes to game day, but as far as the pecking order of how you guys grade and weigh what's a good team, where do positions fall as far as importance to a team?
Yeah, so I think if the old adage of run the ball, stop the run, I think in general in the NFL, the truth is it's pass the ball, stop the pass, right? I mean, those are the things that dictate wins more than anything else. Not that you want to be bad in the run game, but it is a pass-driven league. And the quarterbacks, obviously, it's its own world as far as value goes. I mean, they move the line, so to speak, more than anything, more than any position. But we have receiver and corner as the next most valuable positions that actually, dictate wins and losses more than anything else. And then when you talk about receivers who are true number one wide receivers, and I know Julio Jones didn't work out in Tennessee, but when he was in Atlanta, you're talking about a 10-year game changer when he's in the lineup versus out of the lineup, and what he does, the residual effect of coverages and number 2 and 3 receivers getting theirs and all that stuff. So I think receivers are the second most valuable positions in the NFL, particularly at the top, right? Particularly when you're talking about true number one wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams and all that stuff. So I think the market's catching up to that concept that those guys have a massive impact on the game, and now they're starting to get paid as such. So
quarterback, then wide receiver. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And with that being said, and all the moves that's been made this offseason, who is the most fragile team if one of those entities is out? Is it the Raiders if Derek Carr is out, or one of their receivers? Is it Tom Brady? Who has the most fragile position when it comes down to you better make sure luck and none injuries are on your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be the Raiders. I mean, it was the Packers when they had Devontae Adams, right? I mean, they were so dependent on just Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and then it was like, all right, we'll stitch it together with some solid receivers beyond that. It's probably the Raiders right now with Devontae Adams because the Dolphins have Tyreek Hill and they've got good fallback options. The Titans are kind of in that boat. I like bringing in Robert Woods, and we'll see if they add in the draft. But look, I think you can look at Ryan Tannehill's career and say, if you want to draw the line in the sand between Miami and Tennessee and how much better Tannehill has played, do you attribute it to moving to Tennessee? Do you attribute it to Derrick Henry? Or do you attribute it to A.J. Brown and what he's done, and what he brings to the table? You could use all of those cases. So I think the Titans are up there as well as potentially fragile because I think their offense is completely different with A.J. Brown out there.
Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus with us here on JMart and Ramon. Steve, when you look at this Titans team and the holes that they have on offense, so much 11 personnel, so much power running up the middle that the slot receiver position is a really interesting one. They don't go 3 wide as much on those early downs as many other teams in the league, just based on how they try to use Derrick Henry, obviously, in that offense. Where do you rank a slot-specific guy on the list of priorities for this Titans team? Because that was one hole they never really filled after Adam Humphries left last season.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if they don't use that position as much as other teams, I still find it extremely valuable, right? I mean, because you do have to convert 3rd and 5s and 3rd and 6s. You do have to convert 3rd downs. And for me, I think when I look at the Titans roster, it's not just the lack of a slot receiver, say last year, but it's also the tight end position, which they bring in Austin Hooper. I think that'll upgrade the position there, but I think that was part of the issue is you don't have a slot really or a tight end, just a move the chains type of guy. So even as a run first team, it is extremely valuable to have really good receivers and 3rd and 4th receivers and an extra tight end, because those are the things that put defenses in a bind. We already mentioned your defenses have to account for A.J. Brown. Robert Woods will kind of be able to fill that spot, I guess, tight splits, play in the slot if needed, play outside, move around. But I'm always of the mindset, no matter what your style is, run first or pass first, whatever it is, flooding the field with difficult-to-cover playmakers is a very good strategy in today's NFL. And that's where I thought the Titans were lacking a little bit last year, especially with Julio's injury. They made do, obviously, and, had the number 1 seed, but would love to see more explosive playmakers over there for the Titans.
How much of the predictability of the Titans offense was a Todd Downing problem and the schemes and the things that he's done in his career, and how much of it was the lack of those versatile playmakers on offense? Because it seemed like every time Julio Jones was on the field, you knew it was a pass play or a run the other direction, because they never asked him to be a lead blocker when Derrick Henry was in the backfield. And tight ends, too. I mean, Anthony Ferkser's in the field. It's probably a pass play. Jeff Swaim is on the field. They're probably running that direction. I mean, other teams seem to pretty easily pick up on those tendencies towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of Downing and then personnel. And then, you throw Ryan Tannehill into the mix, and I think you're trying to Tannehill has never really been a guy that you just, spread it out and chuck it around all over the place, as much as I would like to see them give him that opportunity sometimes, in certain games. So it's probably a combination of all those things. You've got a quarterback that's got to be somewhat protected by the run game and, working play action. And then you have personnel that have very specific roles, and you have all those injuries and everything. So probably a combination of all of those things that led to a little bit more predictability last year.
Man, Steve, the overall thought process of the Titans going into next season. Derek coming back from this injury, we've seen him post. He's probably as healthy as can be, man. So with the way the Titans operate, run first, how do we see that sustaining even more with the moves that these other teams have made as far as their receiving core and competing in the AFC now? Will this run first mentality survive again moving into 2022?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing how teams value the pass game across the league, right? Just trying to going all out for quarterbacks. And if you already have a quarterback, or if you think you have a quarterback, getting an elite receiver and all that stuff. I mean, it looks like it's going to be an explosive AFC as far as putting points on the board. Now, the Titans have put points on the board with this style, so I think it's going to be fine. But like anything else, it's going to be, it's going to come down to a few plays here and there. And here's the answer I always give, is I think in today's NFL, you have to be able to win different types of games. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to win games where you are going to grind it out, or you are going to take advantage of light boxes and run the ball or whatever it might be. The one thing that I thought the run-first offenses of the last 10 to 15 years, whether it was Kubiak's scheme or the Shanahan scheme or whatever it is, sometimes those systems are so tied to the run game. When you get a matchup where you get a bad opposing secondary or whatever it might be, it would be great to be able to pivot and just, like I said earlier, just put it in the quarterback's hands and throw it around and take advantage of those mismatches. Or you run into a team that has a really good front and a weak secondary, and you say that's the team you want to throw the ball against. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing I would say about the Titans offense is you want to be able to win in different ways. You don't want to be so formulaic where it's like, well, if we don't get 100 yards from Derrick Henry, we're in trouble. Those games are great, and Derrick Henry has those games where he does get stronger in the fourth quarter and he wins it for you at the end. But I think those are a handful of games a year, and I think you do have to put more in the quarterback and the pass game at times, especially to be able to keep up with the way the AFC is trending right now, offense heavy.
So with that being said about the run game, this offensive line, I think they got 3 of the 5 positions filled. They got Taylor, they got Nate, and they also got Ben Jones. And they got a young guy who's going into his second year, Dylan Radins. And I'd expect them to go first-round offensive line in this 2022 draft. How far are they away as far as the production, Steve? And just in general, how did you grade them out last year as a unit?
Yeah, so they were one of our better run-blocking teams again last year, a little bit below average as far as pass protection goes. That's how they were previous year in 2020, and I think it was 2019 as well. So they're similar trend as far as the line goes. I agree with you on, you got 3/5 of the line. Ray Dunn's probably slots in at right tackle, right? And unless they draft a tackle and move him to guard or whatever it might be. But they've got some flexibility there. So the Titans have also done a really good job at, they made Quessenberry into a pretty decent right tackle last year. So they've done a good job at the right tackle position in general. So I do think guard, Zion Johnson from Boston College is in play at 26 in the draft, or Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. I do think a guard is in play there. A tackle, if he falls, absolutely in play there. But I think they're in pretty good shape. It's a similar line to what they've had. They're probably going to be, skill set wise, it's probably going to be another, run first line that meshes with what the Titans want to do. But they could use an improvement across the board just as far as pass protection goes, because they have been a little bit below average compared to the rest of the league.
Steve, last one for me. I don't know if you've been in any fights with Titans fans on Twitter when you suggest even that they might be looking for an inside linebacker at pick number 26. But this has become a thing where you mentioned the words Nakobe and Dean in Tennessee and Titans fans just lose their minds. I know Zach Cunningham is kind of a divisive figure among analysts and people that know a lot more about this sport than I do. What are the chances the Titans look at that position? And what is your evaluation of Cunningham last year in a short amount of time with the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I think every position's in play. Yeah, we've run into the Dean issue. I think I've always liked Zach Cunningham as a player. I just think he's disappointed me a little bit just as a coverage player in general. He's got size and length, and he moves well and all that stuff. He's just out of position in the pass game far too often, whether it's in Houston, whether it's in Tennessee. Cunningham's an awesome run defender. He is so good at taking on blocks, beats up offensive linemen at the second level. He does it all. So going back to what I said earlier in the show here, it's a pass-first league. So the run game stuff is good. It's valuable. You do want to be able to defend the run with, a linebacker that can do it, that doesn't need to be as protected as much by defensive linemen. So Cunningham's good at that part, but he's not like your modern-day linebacker when he actually plays. He looks like the modern-day linebacker, but he's not. So it's not like you can't improve there. David Long's done some nice things, but, the Titans aren't rolling into the season here with the best linebacking core in the NFL. So I understand maybe not feeling like you want a linebacker, but it's not like they're going to get worse if they added in the Kobe Dean to the mix here.
Steve Palazzolo has been our guest here on JMart and Ramon at PFF_Steve on Twitter. Great analysis as always, man. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, there is Steve Palazzolo on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Lots of good stuff there. Some things I want to react to on the other side. But good reason as far as the inside linebacker thing. Mm-hmm. That's a really weird soapbox that a lot of Titans fans have gone on.
Nakobe Dean, will he really be there at 26?
Probably not.
You see, that's waiting for the draft time. That's all it is, man.
Well, it also poses the question that even if it's not a position of need, if you have a player that is the highest on the board, do you go ahead and do that at 26 if you're the Titans?
John Robinson's done it a lot.
Best available?
That's right. That is right. 615-737-1045 our number if you want to react to that. Coming up, we've got Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers, coming up at 8 o'clock. Your chance to yell at the sky, yell at your car radio, at things that have wronged you over the course of the last week. So start stewing anger in your minds. It doesn't sound like me usually of trying to make people angry on purpose, but I'll allow it this time.
Okay.
And we'll react to what Steve had to say coming up next. It's JMart NMO, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Scenario, you found that dream home. You've been looking and looking, and you found the one that has the right number of bedrooms. It's the right neighborhood. It's the right school. It's everything that you've been looking for, and you're worried you can't get it. Not because you can't afford it, but because you're afraid you don't have the right people on your side. It's not the time to be unclear about whether or not your loan's going to be approved or whether or not you're going to stand out from the rest of that crowd. You've got to have the right lender. You got to have the right people to make sure that you stand out. If you're working with a lender that's not giving you the service that you'd like, if they're not even talking to you, imagine what they're doing when it comes to actually trying to get you what you're trying to get. They're probably not communicating on the other side either. That's going to help you miss your closing date. It's just so frustrating to have what you want and not be able to finish. If that's what you're experiencing, you aren't stuck. It's time to reach out for a second opinion. As the Southeast's leading mortgage lender, Mortgage Investors Group is here to help you get not just any home loan, but the right home loan. Their team of mortgage experts cares. They're committed to helping you close on time, structure things right, and realize your dreams. It's that simple. That's how you get the dream home. Let MIG work for you. Go to migonline.com for Mortgage Investors Group. That's migonline.com. You see where the offices are. You find the nearest one to you. Pre-qualification process, that's going to get you ahead of the game. All the advice you need to make sure that you are fully aware of all the information on the way in. Or you can text MIG to 31399. One more time, migonline.com, or text the three letters MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan, equal housing lender, license number 109111.
Rise and shine. Thursday morning. End of hour number 2. Will Bowling and Ramon Foster hanging out with you. JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up, Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I've been able to hang out for this segment, and I'm very excited.
I'm looking forward to hearing yours.
Usually when I complain about things, I just yell into the sun. And this time I can yell into a microphone. Thank you.
Schaefer read my mind. Because he said that's what you sound like yesterday.
Also, because the last time you played that is when I made the girl I've ever dated joke again. I found the entire quote from Mike Birbiglia.
Of course
it's
you
not
did.
as self-deprecating as it originally sounded. The quote is, I used to think I was unstable, and then I met every girl I've ever dated. So, I'm not that. Thank you. Everyone, please hold your applause till the end of the show. Tip your waiters and waitresses in the way.
Will, the humor, man, I love it. I'm going to be real.
Thank you. Steve Palazzolo, some good stuff from him talking about value of Deebo Samuel. I think that's interesting, saying that Kyle Shanahan has inflated Deebo Samuel's value, and that's kind of put San Francisco in a difficult spot. That's the key difference between the players that are getting trades because they can't come to agreements contract-wise and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is not the cornerstone and the focal point of the Titans offense right now. Mm-hmm. The way that Tyreek Hill was in Kansas City. The way that Devontae Adams was as the number one weapon in Green Bay. As long as Derrick Henry is here and healthy, Derrick Henry is what this offense goes through.
Facts.
Deebo Samuel can make the statement and say, yeah, George Kittle's pretty good, but he's still a tight end. Brandon Ayuk is fine. He's wide receiver too.
Yeah.
This offense runs through me.
Yep.
And that's, I think, the difference and why Titans fans don't have to be as worried that A.J. Brown is going to throw his hands up and just say, you know what, we can't come to an agreement. I'm just going to do what my guy Deebo did and try to go somewhere else.
This conversation right here is very interesting. We've even had this as players, Will.
Yeah.
About is it the X's and O's or is it the Jimmys and Joes? Like, is it the coaches drawing it up or is it the actual players getting it done? Because we asked the question, what's the importance of a player? Right. Was it Tom or was it Bill? Was it Tom or was it Bill? And I do think sometimes depending on the player, it can be the system. I knew it was certain systems that I had to go to. I knew that. Like when you mentioned AJ will be fine in any offense.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think that. We had a running back in particular when it comes to like Le'Veon Hunt. The system in which we were running, I thought was very, very good. For how his running style was and how we blocked for him.
Right.
We did the same things with James Conner a little bit. Then he goes to Arizona, have a good season there also. So for him, you can plug and play him in any system.
Right.
Derrick Henry to the Titans. Could Derrick Henry flourish in another offense? I think the talent that he has, it could, but the Titans have kind of molded their offense to fit what he does as if it ain't the system, but they've kind of created the umbrella around him so that he produces the way that he does, whether it's the patience of continuously calling run calls. Because some OCs, look, you got 3 shots to show me you're going to be a part of this game, and we're out of here. Like, I've seen this be done. You watch some games. Run game ain't working. Scrap it. Let's go. Bruce Arians was one of those guys. If we didn't get the ball going, like, soon in the run game, BA in his own words, scrap this crap. Let's go. Hey, Ben, it's on you.
Right.
We're going through you for the rest of the happening to these guys. Get their bleep together. Like, that was him.
Yeah.
The Titans system probably allows Derek. Look, I don't care what y'all think. We're going to continue to pound this rock until it goes. So for Shanahan or whoever the people behind him saying we've cultivated a culture in which Deebo has flourished, some truth. But the player himself is the one that's making these plays, though, too. Like, you creative enough to, Deebo, you did what in high school and in college?
Yeah, right.
We can give you the ball in the backfield.
I think these NFL players are also realizing that they can have the power that NBA players have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think that's the thing. Because the NBA is run by the players.
Yeah.
And we've got Shan Foster coming up in an hour. We could talk to him about that. But, like, that's there was the controversial quote, what was it, 2 years ago of whatever owner said the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the analogy and what that adage alludes to of, the cart is driving the horse, there's some truth to that.
It's
in
a
the
player-driven
NBA.
league.
Right.
In
NFL
the
is
NFL
creeping closer to that every single year.
It's been that way, though, too. Again, it's always been bogged down by the respect going to only the quarterback and the coaches.
Right.
It's a player-driven league. Like I said, there are some players that have systems.
Yeah. I think the wide receiver position, Steve said it well, that the wide receiver position is now creeping towards quarterback level of say that you have within your organization.
You better have one.
Right. Halftime of the show. When we come back, time to complain. And it is time to load up the phone lines. 615-737-1045. Bleep you, Aaron Rodgers. We yell into microphones, and you yell at your radios. Coming up next, 1045 The Zone.
It is 8:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Hall of Fame coach Jay Wright retiring after 21 seasons as men's basketball coach at Villanova. Shocking news coming just weeks after he led the Wildcats to the Final Four. He'll take a new role as special assistant to the university's president. Fordham's Kyle Neptune, who spent 10 years under Wright as a video coordinator and an assistant coach, will take over at Villanova. Star wide receiver Deebo Samuel, entering the final year of his rookie contract, told ESPN's Jeff Darlington that he has asked the 49ers to trade him. Samuel did not provide specific reasons for requesting the trade. Now, his agent is Torrey Dandy, who also represents A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, two of the other wideouts who are set for paydays. NBA playoffs last night, Sixers 104, Raptors 101. Joel Embiid hit the game-winning three with 0.8 of a second left in overtime. Celtics defeated the Nets 114-107. Boston rallied from 17 points down for the win. Bulls 114, Bucks 110. Grizzlies will be taking on the T-Wolves in Minnesota tonight. 6:30 will be the tip. That series tied at 1 game apiece. Dodgers 5, Braves 1 yesterday. LA took 2 of 3 in the series. Atlanta 6-8 to start the season. Travel day today before taking on the Marlins tomorrow. And the Sounds defeated Charlotte 8-1 for their 4th straight win. Nashville 10-4 to start the campaign. 6:35 first pitch at First Horizon Park tonight. And the Nashville Predators will open next season against the San Jose Sharks with international games in Prague, October 7th and October 8th. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on Over the Titans and the Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday edition, JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here in Nashville. Alongside Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. I'm Will Bowling.
The best producer in the world.
Do you have a best fill-in host in the world one there? Or should I say that now? That way you can record it and use it later.
We haven't had one yet.
The best fill-in producer in the world.
Now the music's underneath it. I can't use it.
It's unfortunate. It is time to be angry at the world, and specifically angry at Aaron Rodgers. It's a thing that we do well here. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to release the hate, release the angst. It is time for Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers.
See you driving around town with the girl I love, and I'm like,
you, Aaron Rodgers.
I just the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like,
you, Aaron Rodgers.
When your baby keeps you up all night. When you bust a tire by hitting a pothole. When you're not completely comfortable with your starting quarterback. All there's left to say is...
you, Aaron Rodgers.
On JMart and Ramon.
There it is. Woo. It is time. Wow. Ramon Foster, lead us off.
Lead us off. All right. I'll pick up where we left off in the 6 o'clock hour, man.
Okay.
And it is baseball.
Uh-oh.
One of the longest sit-down watching sports that you have to endure. You watch people fail, and you want to be entertained by it. You watch people run the bases on a big-time play, and they're just supposed to smile and run back to the dugout. You watch kids enjoy themselves, and then you shut them down when they do. I've seen people talk trash to football players. I've seen them curse out basketball players. I've seen them encourage fighting in hockey. But lo and behold, let's not touch baseball. It's a sport played by kids who turn into adults who also play that sport, who are still kids at heart. And you mean to tell me, with all the unwritten rules of what you're supposed to do in baseball and not do in baseball, having fun is one of them?
Yeah.
That you're not supposed to do. I've seen kids say they quit because baseball is too slow. I've seen people quit because coaches ruin the game for kids who want to have fun playing a game. And I say quit because, look, you left them no choice. is sad. It's terrible. And we had a caller earlier that added to my Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers, by saying, look, I enjoy seeing the celebrations. Maybe it's a bit too much at times, but if you don't like a team winning and showboating for any sport, I'll tell you, stop them. But for all the purists of baseball that have a problem with anybody having fun inside of the game, where it's not disrespectful, where race doesn't come up, where you're not fighting somebody, Jonathan Schaefer, I say to those people,
You, Aaron Rodgers.
that's my one and only one.
I like it. Jonathan Schaefer, what you got for us?
Pro Football Focus.
Perfect.
Let's hear it.
They've been frenemies, if you will, on this show since the birth of this show.
This is true.
Love Steve. Love Sam. Also mock them. Much like we love each other and mock each other ceaselessly, too. So they're fam. They're hashtag for the fam. However, all the nonsense this week, and especially yesterday, where whoever runs their social media account saying, hey, possible dream offense for Kansas City Chiefs or Tennessee Titans or insert team. Oh, New York Jets. That was the one that drove me crazy when they put Corey Davis and A.J. Brown there. Y'all, it's social media. It's not real life. I don't care how many likes you get. I don't care how many clicks you get. I don't care how many twerks you get. I don't care how many tweets you get. I don't care how many zits you get. I don't care anything of what you get. It's ridiculous. It's lowest common denominator internet trolling garbage. In fact, one would even call it trash. You're just trafficking in that passion of these fan bases. You're just trying to create this that when you read this garbage and you doom scroll through it, the only thing you want to do is go home and take a hot shower because you feel bad you participated in that crap in the first place. So in terms of your social media tactics, PFF, you can go play in traffic and...
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Go play in traffic.
Well done. Very well done.
Nice shave.
All right, so...
Oh, by the way, I'm not done.
Oh, perfect.
To the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you could have multiple of these.
Yeah.
I had like 6 last.
Oh, that's great.
This
I
has
had you on the
become.
list.
Oh,
this has
perfect.
become
All
a
right.
life
You had me
force
on
for
the
me.
list?
Yes, I did.
What were you complaining about me?
Oh, we'll
for?
come back to that in a second.
Perfect.
It's great. I love show-on-show violence, host-on-host
Lovely.
violence. To the Carolina Panthers and Rock City Machine, Rockvale, Rock Hill, The Rock,
That's where Justin Worley is from.
wherever.
VFL.
You know, we're having a few issues here in the state trying to figure out how we're going to fund the new stadium. One thing I'm going to tell you, it's going to get done. One way or another, it's going to get done. The Senate and the House are doing their thing. It gets taken out of this budget. It's approved here and all that. All this stuff's going to get done. Y'all broke ground. You all actually put shovels in the dirt, brought dozers onto the site. You actually had people surveying the place. You were building it. And you guys couldn't come together. And now Panthers ownership are saying the city, and the city's going to Carolina Panthers going, get it done. Because you're both like fools and idiots in this situation. How do you let a project as big as this one is out there in Carolina in what is it? Rock City, Rockvale,
Rock Hill.
The Rock. Have you ever been to The Rock? Wherever it is. Get it done. You both look like doofuses. So you know what?
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they do.
Well done.
Yes, they do, Shafe. They actually have beams and walls up
That's what I'm saying.
for the
insane.
practice facility that
It's
the
insane.
Carolina Panthers are supposed to be having.
Like
and they
you were
shut it down.
in construction. It
Yeah.
was being built. And now it's going to look like, what's the old amphitheater out there? Starwood or whatever it was called? That's what it's going to look like.
I like it.
I like it.
All right, so I am saying bleep you Aaron Rodgers to the Washington Nationals.
What?
The U.S. Capitol was evacuated Wednesday after police identified an aircraft that they said posed a probable threat to United States senators. But the plane was carrying members of the U.S. Army Golden Knights who were parachuting into the Washington Nationals baseball stadium for a pregame demonstration, and no one thought to tell anyone else in the city of Washington, D.C. The Nationals were hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks at Nationals Park, which is located a little more than a mile away from the U.S. Capitol. An alert from U.S. Capitol Police sent congressional staffers fleeing from the Capitol and Legislative Building around 6:30. People were walking around the Senate office building and then started panicking and sprinting into evacuation because the Nationals had a flyover and no one thought to tell the government buildings or, I don't know, the Capitol Police down the road. So let's maybe all get on the same page in Washington. I know that's a crazy idea in more ways than one, but if you're going to have a military aircraft flying over your baseball stadium for an hour, perhaps it's a good idea to tell the government that's trying to operate and doing so poorly, I might add, trying to operate a couple of miles down the road to the Washington Nationals, I say.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you very much. So I had an honorable mention, and now that I know I can have another one.
Yeah, you do. Go ahead.
I'm going to go to the American League West.
Do it.
And I want to yell at the Oakland Athletics.
Why?
Because the Oakland Athletics announced attendance on Tuesday night.
No, they didn't.
Was 3,748. Damn. 3,748 people.
They announced it?
There are more feral cats in Oakland Coliseum than fans, and I am not exaggerating.
There are more feral cats in Buck Rising's house
That's
than
true.
at Oakland Stadium.
A feral cat committee of 30 to 40 feral cats is expanding, per reports, and, quote, having a field day on the A's turf and parts of the stadium. And basically, the Oakland Athletics have said, there's nothing we can do about it, so we're going to spay and neuter them and hope they stay away from fans. So meanwhile, the Oakland Athletics have sold any player worth anything on their team, and now they have 3,700 announced people. You know how many college baseball programs average more than 3,700 people per game? Most of them. Most of them.
High school teams here.
And to the Oakland Athletics, I say,
You, Aaron Rodgers.
thank you very much. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. That is...
I got a partial, but we're going to let these calls get through here in a second.
We've got an entire hour down.
Yeah, I know.
We got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
3,700 people.
I got other complaints.
Meow.
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 It's a lot of kitty.
I don't like... What's the opposite of feral cat? House cat?
House
Hey,
cat.
not
I don't
feral cat.
like feral or unferal cats.
Cats aren't my thing either, but hey, I respect the pets. No FEMA slam.
Buffalo will lead us off when we
Dito.
come back. Eric on deck as well. Load up the phone lines if you've got somebody to yell at. 615-737-1045. It's JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, yo.
JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Thursday edition where you can join us at 615-737-1045 for Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. Your time to complain and yell at anyone you would like to bleep.
Yeah.
Alongside Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling.
Ramon, don't you have one against Will?
I do, man. I got to get this one.
Oh, what?
Real quick. It won't even be long. It won't be long.
All right.
Will starts off the week, man, bragging about how close he stays to the studio, the time he gets up, and then also really just dives into how late he usually stays up and how coming in and doing the job is an issue for him. Will said he woke up at 5:46.
Not 5:46.
Well, it was 5 later
42.
than us.
5:42.
Oh, 5:42. Woke up at 5:42. He ended up was tired coming into the studio, and I'm thinking to myself, Will, you're 24 years old. Pipe down with the complaining, okay? And not only that, Will also lays out his clothes the night before he comes to work.
Yeah.
This isn't middle school anymore, Will. We're adults.
Look,
we don't have sippy cups anymore.
For the sake of efficiency.
No, this is my time now, okay? This is my time.
His name is on the marquee.
Yeah, I got my name on this daggone show, okay? And with that being said, Will, we do the job. You know how many late nights we have? Guess what? You were in a race to become an adult. Now you are one. Welcome to the show, Will. And for that and anybody else that's like Will about complaining about their job and who ain't gonna get up. Shafe, for you, I
Aaron
say,
Rodgers.
thank you.
Thank you.
And also,
Yeah.
615-737-1045.
I gotta be an adult. I gotta wake up early.
And
I gotta set my clothes out. I look like I still go to Brentwood Academy.
Spot on. That sounds like me. Sounds just like me.
For that, we say grow up. Yeah, Savage. Will still lays out his clothes the night before.
Only if I've got to wake up really early.
But I don't want to go to bed.
If I wake up early, it's for the sake of efficiency.
Oh, you operate in the dark.
I'm sorry, man. You wanted to grow up real fast, and this is the consequences, man.
We were born.
You know what's funny about that is now I can do that. I don't even think about it anymore.
Let's go to the phones.
Look at him, Jason.
615-737-1045.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
So let's go to Buffalo first on the phone lines. Good morning, Buffalo.
So I'm supposed to follow the Peanuts teacher in Starwood?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hey,
Buffalo, what you got for us?
Double A Ron Rodgers, the star of Keegan Peele and Jeopardy, my guy, because, you know, I'm a Packers fan and born in Milwaukee, blah, blah, blah. Really, my biggest complaint is Mother Nature and 7 inches over on the year. You know, we got houses to build. We got pools to put in. We got roads to make. We got a concrete or cement shortage, cement supply shortage that's out of this world right now in Nashville. And all Mother Nature's going to do is just sit there and rain on us? Come on, Double A Ron Rodgers.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you for the call, Buffalo.
Appreciate it, Buffalo.
I like it.
That rain is having a tear lately, man.
It was last year when we had all the rain in the winter, I believe.
Yeah, we did. We sure did here.
I had friends that moved here like, is it always like this? Like, no, not really.
No,
The ironic thing was the best summer we've had here in a long time was the pandemic summer.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it
There were
mild?
like random 75-degree days in like June.
It was so wonderful, but everybody didn't want to leave their house.
Want to leave. I
Mother
know,
Nature.
I know.
Evening up the score. 615-737-1045.
Hey, Mother Nature.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers.
Don't speak too quick now.
Hey, fair.
Bolt of lightning gonna smite you down.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna demerit myself for that. Mother Nature, my bad. I got emotional.
He's sorry. We sorry.
I got emotional. I saw that pimp jacket out there in the dugout, and I got worked up. My bad.
Let's go back to the phones. Eric is in Nashville. Good morning, Eric.
What's up, Eric?
Hey, good morning, guys. There's so much sports, but actually I have 2 non-sports that I think are good ones. Guys, my first one has to go to the California woman, Sherry Papini, for faking her own kidnapping. For 5 years, she said she was kidnapped, there were 2 Hispanic women that branded her. Well, it turns out it was all a lie. She got her ex-boyfriend to get, I guess, some sort of branding to Hobby Lobby to brand her and all this stuff. Had all these people looking for her and all this stuff, borrowed money from, like, I guess, Victims Defense Fund, saying that she saw her and all this type of stuff. The only thing she saw about that she got caught. And to avoid severe jail time, because if she had not agreed to a plea deal, she would have faced 25 years in prison. So I guess she's going to spend something like 15, 18 months in prison. She does have to pay back all the money that she used, and I think she's supposed to go to jail within the next month or 2. That's my first one. My other one is this weird story, guys. You may have heard on the news. It's one of the strangest stories I've ever heard that happened in Nashville. The woman, I don't know her name, she went up to the Nashville airport and tried to commit suicide. She had a gun. It went off twice. I think she didn't seriously wound herself, and I'm hoping that she's okay. She gets whatever mental help she needs. But it's like, how in the world does something like happen where somebody gets out in the middle of the Nashville airport and tries to commit suicide? I mean, where was security? Where was the, metal detectors? And how could she get a gun out there? It's just a story that just boggles my mind. I just don't get it. Guys, y'all take care.
And for that, we say,
You, Aaron Rodgers.
hold up, 5 years she faked her own death?
That's wild.
And she was she was a sheriff herself?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
I don't know anything about that story. I really don't.
But I'm spot on with Eric, though. She deserves whatever comes. 5 years? Who is she, Creed Bratton?
So that I was watching The Office the other day, and one of the deleted scenes. I was telling you about this of I don't know why they took this out of The Office, but it's the episode where they have the watermark on the paper that's like an obscene watermark, and so they've got to apologize. And they bring in a writer from the Scranton Times is in the break room, and Creed is there, and the guy looks at him and goes, "Wait a minute, you're Creed Bratton." He said, yes, I am. Nice to meet you. Do I know you? He says, "I wrote your obituary." and then Creed comes on and says, "Yeah, I've been living as my own widow for the past 10 years." Creed Bratton passed away in the 1980s. It's fantastic. Have you watched any of those deleted scene episodes?
I have seen a few of them.
Oh my gosh.
I have.
It's like watching the show through it's like watching a different show.
It is.
But in a good way. Let's go back to the phones. Cousin Andrew for a Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers.
He's going to need some time, fans.
At 615-737-1045. I reluctantly say hello to Cousin Andrew. Hello, Cousin Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
Hello. Ramon, question for you. Did you ever buy that Christmas tree you were talking about buying last time?
No, you tried to force that Christmas tree on me, Andrew.
You got 6 now, or is it still at 5?
We're at 5 and looking.
Okay, well, then I have just as many Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers as you do Christmas trees, so hang on to your hats, boys. First of all, Power Football Focus, stop with the Jets crap. Schaefer, can you give them one real quick?
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Secondly, JMart's bladder. I don't know that I need to explain this, but that's the reason that he's out with a Derrick Henry injury. So can we give him one too, Schaefer?
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Thirdly, Freddie Freeman, just because he's no longer in a Braves uniform and he's knocking dingers. Give him one, Schaefer.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you.
J-Rob, can we get this A.J. Brown deal done so we can quit all this crappy talk and quit Power Football Focus, dropping him in Mean Green? Schaefer?
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Lastly, I can't give one without giving one to my fellow companion, Buck Rising. Last week, Buck got on to this gentleman who called in for a spoiler alert because he was recording the Masters on DVR and watching it later. And Buck told him, basically, how are we DVRing stuff in the day and age where you got the internet and you got your ESPNs, this, that, and the other. And then yesterday at 10:25 a.m., Buck Rising comes on here and says that he DVRs NFL Live. Yeah. Buck, you can go on Twitter and get the highlights of that, too, so quit dogging people for the same crap you do. Give him one, Schaefer. I'm out.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you for the call, Andrew.
Buck catches strays daily, man.
That also, DVRing games is very much still a thing. Absolutely still a thing.
One thing I do is I'll DVR a game that I'm attending.
Yeah,
because the game that I see in
Well,
attendance, I do, and I won't sit there and watch it minute by minute, but I'll go back and see some of the plays to where I didn't have the benefit of a replay or a certain angle when I was at the venue live. So if I go to a Titans game live, I'll DVR the game and go back and rewatch certain points of the game to see if there's something that I missed.
That's smart, though.
Yeah.
That's smart, but you can't dog somebody out for doing the exact same thing that you were doing, too.
Yeah, right. Also, DVRing NFL Live is an odd move.
NFL.
I mean, NFL, no disrespect to NFL Live. Like, it's fine. But
Yeah. But why that?
I don't understand.
Oh, that's pretty iffy right there, man. NFL Live is their like sit down show.
Yeah.
Oh, you go back and watch that?
Buck does. Yeah. Records it and goes back and watches it.
Oh, hold up. Really? I don't know if Buck, you do enough on the radio, dog.
Yeah.
And you got a pod. And you do a lot of stuff. You want to hear other people talk. I get it. It's informative. I'm not tripping. But I question it, Buck. You got all the info you need. You got the Panzeca with you too.
That's true. I like the DVRing sports thing too. Like there are a lot of people that work at night. People that work at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So I do this if I'm going to miss the first half. I'd rather just watch the whole thing later than like miss the first half.
Yeah.
And we are now joined against our will by Buck Rising, who I guess is going to respond. Of course. He's always lurking in the shadows. Hello, Buck.
It just so happens. Now, maybe this is a product of just how I'm received by people, okay? I'm coming out of the gym this morning. I step into the car. I turn on the radio at 8:31. By 8:31:30, somebody's telling me to bleep me, Aaron Rodgers? No. Bleep you, Aaron Rodgers. Bleep you and all of you who DVR sports and who can't be bothered to find out on your Twitter timeline like the rest of us. NFL Live is daily programming, and they do not have the highlights of it anywhere but on my DVR machine. So every one of you can sit, spin, and go piss off while you watch your golf on tape delay like you're living in the 1970s. I'm out.
Sit on it and spin.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is Buck has to watch NFL Live in order to get his opinions that he yells from the rooftops on his show.
Oh, Buck. Almost every time Buck's called it straight, at least on our show, he's just getting in his car or something. He's retaliated.
He always
quick.
claims that he's coming out of the gym when this
Hey,
happens.
my dog getting right, man. Buck, I'm with you. I see you. Buck getting right. That's my dog, man. Because Buck don't care. That's what I like about him, man. He go, and him and Andrew, by the way, it's appropriate that cousin Andrew got him like that. They go at each other like they were just like they're stepbrothers. Like literally the movie before they got cool. They're literally the movie Step Brothers before they got cool is how I view them. Buck refuses to call him cousin. Andrew continuously say, you say my name. That's pretty much what he said.
Say my name.
Say my name.
I am the danger.
Buck Rising. He's all over it, man. I love it.
It's when he starts calling him Andrew is when it gets personal because they're both technically Andrew.
It's true. Andrew Rising.
I ain't put that together right
good
there.
point.
That's awesome. Somebody also by the name of Jonathan Schaefer found his, not a mug shot, but found his driver's license picture.
Oh, you want to know the story behind that?
What happened?
What happened? Wait a minute. What happened?
What happened?
So we're in the green room, which is across from the studio after the show. And pardon me if I have to stop at some point and sneeze because it's coming on in the middle of this.
Uh-oh.
Sneeze you, Aaron Rodgers.
That's the least of his problems. So we're in the green room and we just see a stray wallet sitting out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we originally think, because of the chair that it's in, that it's Ramon's wallet.
Yep.
And Rhett Bryan graciously
he did.
tracked down Ramon. Hey, man, your wallet's here, all that. And I don't want to speak for you, Ramon, but you're basically like, no, I got it, and we're good. Well, so there's a stray wallet there. Of course, I'm going to check out the contents.
No, matter of fact,
wallet.
we gotta say, I came all the way back.
You did. I don't know how far you were gone.
I was
you did
by the
come whole way
stadium.
back.
This was a feral wallet.
I was by the stadium.
So you're on the other side
It's
of
a
town.
wild wallet.
It was a wild wallet.
Came back.
Nice leather.
So there's a phrasing. So there was a feral wallet in the green room, and I decided to just look through it. First of all, Buck did not have nearly the amount of cash I thought he would in there, and then I went, well, but he's also, 19, so he doesn't carry cash. So I understand
This
that.
is true.
So there's nothing there really that I wanted to take, and I don't do that because I don't want that ever done to me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't actually going to do anything. I was just being nosy.
Yeah.
But I saw his driver's license photo.
And
And it looks like the one from when he was 16 years old.
It does look like a mugshot, though.
And I couldn't
saw
get the
it.
camera to zoom in on it, so it's a blurry photo, so it looks like the
Makes it even
McLovin
better.
photo from Superbad.
Oh.
Yeah.
We had fun with that.
It's like what's the movie with the sheet of paper that just says I am 12? Written on
The baseball movie.
Yeah.
Benchwarmers.
Yeah, there you
Benchwarmers.
go.
There we
I'm
go.
12.
So look at that. I can't remember the
Let's
movies of the
go.
show.
Hey,
But
come
I got Benchwarmers. You doggone right. I got that one.
Because compared to me, everyone has JMart level movie knowledge.
I have no knowledge.
I have zero.
I'm talking about zero knowledge. I'm better off
She's
guessing
married
ages.
to Tom Cruise.
Where does that come from?
The Office.
I see. I missed that one.
When it's the dinner party episode when Jim and Michael and Pam and Jan are playing charades.
Oh yeah.
And
I
they're
do
guessing
remember that
Tom
one.
Cruise things, and Jim is just acting like he can't remember. And then
do
he says,
remember
Katie
that.
Holmes. And Michael's like, no, she's married to him. It's so good.
I remember that one, man.
So
but
good.
shout out to Buck for taking it lightly, man. This is what this is. Seriously about the baseball part. Though. Not seriously, but and just let the kids have fun. Teach them the game. That's all I'm about. You know, when it comes down to it. Teach the game, have fun, dog.
DVRing the Masters, though, is like if there's one sporting event that you are allowed to record and watch at your leisure later on, it is the Masters. Because you're working during most of it.
I understand the reasoning, but I'm almost with Buck anyway. I'm really with Buck on that one. All you're not saying all 18 holes of the particular golfer that you're looking at.
You can like skip through the commercial.
You getting you're only getting snapshots of everything that's going on anyway. So
It's the azaleas.
What? It's
The pimentos and
azaleas. I wish
cheese.
you would justify that again by saying you want to watch the azaleas when I got some in my backyard too.
Pimentos and cheese.
Shout out to my guy John, man. My azaleas are coming through.
There you go.
They're coming through
Big
right
flower
now.
guy?
But the big frost scared me, man. I got to switch my lemon trees over to a new pot soon. Don't laugh at me, Will. Come on, man. This is a very serious thing here. Hey, I'm trying to have a green thumb. I ate one of my lemons last year, by the way.
Did you really?
I did. I had a nice
just by itself.
It was a little bit bigger than I did just because it's a sweeter. It's a sweeter lemon. It's a Meyer lemon. They don't sell them in stores. It's a Meyer lemon. They don't sell them in stores for whatever reason, and it's actually tangerine / lemon mixed.
sounds
So
pretty
it's a
good.
little bit more juicy. Has a little bit more sweetness to it.
Do you make lemonade with your lemons?
I'll smack you right now.
I was asking. I was like actually asking. I was even trying to make a joke.
Actually
Come on.
asking a legitimate
Foul on the
question.
play.
See, you got to be on high
15-yard
alert in
penalty.
here.
Man.
Replay the down.
You got to be on alert in this room in the
Straight.
studio.
Hey.
It's tuned into Tupac around here, man. You got to be
Really?
careful going down the street.
Hey now. You have to be on high alert.
Look, if I'm making a corny pun, you're gonna know it. If there's any doubt,
no, not really. Will.
you'd be laughing really hard right now if I was making a joke.
That's the problem about your jokes.
Boy, that's presumptuous.
It's true though.
We don't really laugh. Yeah. We love you though.
So you don't make lemonade with your lemons? I'm actually asking.
I put them in some tea.
Okay.
I put them in some tea. Because this was around the time I think I ended up having COVID too, so I was making a lot of tea.
Because then he
and I was-
sips on that tea like Kermit's, like none of my business.
And that's the tea. All right, coming up next, we finish off Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers, where you can get your final calls in at 615-737-1045. Shane Foster coming up at 9. Coach Dave McGinnis at 9:20. Lots more to discuss. That's right, that guy on 1045 The Zone.
Genesis Diamonds once-a-year spring extravaganza is here this weekend. The biggest sale all year, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's 3 incredible days of store-wide savings at Genesis. Virtually everything's on sale. You save up to 35% off engagement rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, necklaces. Some items marked down $5,000, even $10,000. Even Genesis's vast selection of GIA-certified diamonds are specially priced for this 3-day event. All the top jewelry designers are here. Their most recent designs, stuff you've never even seen before. It's eye-catching. It's fashion-forward designs from the world's top designers in bridal and fashion jewelry. It really is like the biggest jewelry trunk show you've ever seen times 10. Plus, you can also get special financing on every single purchase during the event. So if you're looking for spring bling, I got a friend that just got engaged. They went to Genesis. Or if you're planning to propose or about to celebrate something big in life, you need to be at this event. It's Genesis Diamonds' once-a-year spring extravaganza, 3 days off-the-chart savings, up to $10,000 off some items. It's only this Friday, Saturday. Yes, they even are going to stay open on Sunday for this once-a-year event at my jewelry store, and it should be yours. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone. Some basketball headlines to get into coming up in 15 minutes with Vanderbilt basketball legend Shan Foster.
E-legend.
Looking forward to catching up with him, catching up with Coach Dave McGinnis at 9:20. It's a Friday for me.
It is for you, man. Look, there he is again, Shafe.
Yep.
There he is doing it again.
I got to get up early. I only want a 4-day work week.
I'm too happy.
Mama.
That's fine.
He's doing it again, Shay.
3-day work week.
It was
actually,
appropriate.
but,
Oh, my God. Lucas walking in.
People don't know the inside joke that just occurred.
Lucas doesn't complain about work.
Am I complaining?
Grousing.
Yeah, we'll make it. We'll all be
feel
fine.
like that Cuba Gooding Jr. Maybe.
It's hard to say.
Speaking of Cuba Gooding, oh, man. He just had to plead guilty to something.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not
want
great.
I don't.
Yeah, nah. We're not.
615-737-1045.
We good.
Bleep You, Cuba Gooding.
Hey, come on. That's the guy. That's the thing. Hey, we got a request. You got to do the Bane just one sentence.
I have to do Bane again?
Just one time. And
I
honestly,
gotta do Bane again.
yeah, well, you're still rookie here, man. When we actually
Rookie dues.
Look at I want a cup of coffee, and there's only one person in this room who's gonna go get it for me, and it's not me.
You merely adopted the caffeine. I was born in it. Nashville's reckoning, making lemonade out of lemons. It's honestly probably my best imitation.
By the way, Mo, why did you get to be in that movie, man? Come on, bro.
You want to know why?
Why?
Not enough star power, baby. Not a first rounder.
It's like the mayor up here, Hines Ward, the hole that opened up in the middle of the field, and then Ramon Foster.
Ramon basically just went, I'm not really an athlete.
The gap between Hines Ward being in the movie and Ramon is the size of the field that opened up in the middle of Dark
I was
Knight
a young
Rises.
starter at that point, man. Mike Wallace was fire hot. He was in the movie. Hines Ward, Marquise Pouncey was an all-pro Pro Bowler in his rookie year, so he got into the next year. But we corrected that sham, though, didn't we, Shafe? Because our guy that actually funded that movie, Thomas Toll, he came on the show.
Yeah, he did.
He did come on the show. So we righted that wrong. 5 no go. 5 no go. You took mine and used it against me?
Of course I did.
That's that could be the motto of this show.
You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't. You cannot.
No. What's so crazy? Why does everybody, Mo, don't get mad? I'm like, I never get mad.
No, because what happens is
You're a
that
generally happy person.
you try to. You know what? Here's my if you were Aaron Rodgers when it comes to Ramon Foster.
Here it
Let's
comes.
do it. Now, come on.
Here it
We're
comes.
in now. See, here's the deal, Ramon. See, what you like to do, and people don't realize is because you're the most likable human being on the planet. Even white children like you. We were able to prove that last week, okay? We
CG
proved that.
loves me, don't
That's
she?
a statement of fact. That's what happened.
It's a statement
Let
of
me,
fact.
before you go, like lately, like a bunch of kids just been like, hi, big guy. I'm like, oh, and they've been white. There's no race. There's kids don't see that. Parents, stop doing that to your kids. Go ahead, Shafe.
But
It's like Don's daughter hating Slay.
You're an instigator. You're what I call a fragger. You will go in, throw the grenade in the room, and then run away before the grenade goes off. And then, after the grenade's gone off, you look back and be like, oh, man, who threw the grenade in there? That's funny. That's good stuff. You instigate so many of these
Some
things.
men just want to watch the world burn.
Yes, that is actually you. But you're like, oh, I can't believe that someone would use this against me. And I can't believe someone's being petty to somebody else. And we always know you're being defensive because you go, come on, guy. Come on, man.
Hey, the world need people like me, man.
But you have to own it.
You know what? As of late, I have owned it. I've got called out in group chats. Okay, numerous.
You got kicked out of your recruiting class group chat.
Get kicked out of one. And you know what? They brought me back because it was dead in there without
That's
me.
better than me because I got kicked out of my recruiting class group chat while I was still in college. I think we were sophomores and I got kicked out.
For real?
I think I probably made a pun that was bad. Actually, I think that is what happened. They were
But
just like,
but so much about the show, the pettiness, the ratchetness, and all this, it all comes from from the brain of Ramon Foster.
That's true.
He is Oz. He's the man behind the curtain. But because you're so likable, people are like, nah, man, Ramon's great. He wouldn't do anything like that. Let me tell you what. Yes, he will.
But okay, so Shay, my thing is this.
Drop to the dark.
Yeah, that's what it is. I was born. But this has always been my thing, man. Always been. And it turned a little petty, but it's out of genuine love, though, too. If I'm acting this way with you, we're good.
I can vouch for that, and I agree with that.
Yes.
But when the strays start flying, there are many times you're the man holding the gun.
So what would you like trash talk like in the middle of a game, like in college or NFL? Like are you the guy trying to like how would you trash talk and use this to your advantage during the game?
So in the art of sport, like they would say something to me or to us, or like say I thought our line was pretty good when we played. We were.
Right.
And it'd be times where somebody might get us on a play, one play. And truth be told, all a D lineman needs, one play a game from anywhere. That's all they need. And that one particular guy would just start chirping. And I'm chill, especially when I'm doing work. I'm chill until you do that. When you do that, oh, let's go. Because everything I've watched on film, everything I know about you, what you did the week before, I know all of it, okay? So when you start with me, there's no let up because to Shay's point, I'm here for a good time. That's all I want to do is do my job and have a good time. So when you go that way, Will, oh, my God, I used to just tell people, I know you don't know me, but we damn sure don't know you. Like, Coach didn't even put your name up. Hey, Gino, hey, get him. Like, when did y'all pick him up on roster? Because I don't remember seeing him on film. And then he lined up over us. I'd be like, hey, I'm here to let you know the ball is about to come right here. And Coach told us to dog you. So either you're going to get down or you're going to lay down. Like, I say that type of stuff. Like, dude.
So would you like research like things about them?
I didn't have to because I watched so much film and like said, like, I was afraid of like failing. The same way I'm afraid of, like, one of my biggest fears is, like, to have all that I work for and then lose it. You know what I'm saying? So I played my career like that, too. So I watched every single thing that I needed to prepare for that moment in which you said something disrespectful. And from there, and Shafe, no, when you cross the line, ain't no coming back.
There's no going back.
But after the game, hey, dog, man, good game.
You want to swap a jersey real quick?
Like he said, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
We would go to tennis matches in college as our friends were the tennis team, and we would find the prom dates of who they were playing and yell like, oh, how's Jessica doing? How's Stacy? We made a girl cry once, but that's a separate story.
My favorite line is always, hey, say hi to your mom for me. That's always my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When we come back, 4's up, ladies and gentlemen.
Foes. Oh, we're already in the fourth hour.
The show has flown by. It's flown by. Fourth quarter. We get better in the fourth quarter. Shan Foster, Coach Dave McGinnis. Next, 104.5 The Zone.
Does your home suffer from constantly clogged plumbing? I hope not, because that's not fun. Nothing worse than reaching out to local plumbers time and time again to clear out old pipes. You're just flushing money down the drain. But there's an alternative. Lee Company. One of the only companies in our area to offer trenchless pipe replacement. Trenchless pipe replacement, it's yard friendly, it's innovative. It is a different way to replace old or broken pipes or gas lines. Unlike traditional processes, trenchless pipe replacement is far less messy, it's far less time-consuming, reduces headaches and hassles for homeowners. It helps get the necessary work done faster and for less money. Does that interest you? Getting this job done faster and for less money. If you want to learn more, the easiest way to do it, you can go to leecompany.com, certainly, or you can contact my friends over there today at 615-567-1000. Once again, 567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
9:02, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. To the NBA we go. Sixers defeated the Raptors 104-101 in overtime. Joel Embiid hit the game-winning three with 0.8 seconds remaining. Celtics defeated the Nets 114-107. Boston rallied from 17 down for the win. They are up 2-0 in that series. Bulls 114, Bucks 110. Grizzlies at Minnesota tonight to take on the Timberwolves. 6:30 the tip for that. Series tied at 1 game apiece. Hall of Fame coach Jay Wright retiring after 21 seasons as men's basketball coach at Villanova, just weeks after he led the Wildcats to the Final Four. Star wide receiver Deebo Samuel, who's entering the final year of his rookie contract, told ESPN's Jeff Darlington that he has asked the 49ers to trade him. Samuel did not provide specific reasons for requesting the trade. Major League Baseball, Dodgers 5, Braves 1. Braves are 6-8 to start the season. Sounds defeated Charlotte 8-1 for their fourth straight win. Play again tonight, 6:35, first pitch at First Horizon Park. And the Preds will be a part of the NHL's Global Series. They will open next season against the San Jose Sharks with international games in Prague, October 7th and 8th. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 4 on the show, JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons here in Nashville. And we are excited to talk a little bit of hoops here in the final hour. Coach Tate McGinnis coming up here in 15 minutes. Will Bowling, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, our producer, with you. And we are pleased to be joined on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline by Vanderbilt basketball legend Shan Foster. Shane, good morning. Thank you for giving us a couple minutes today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Shane. Welcome to the show, man. I don't know if this is our first time vocally talking to one another, man, so welcome in.
I appreciate it, brother. You know, I followed you a long time, man. You're a baller at the top degree, man, so I appreciate y'all having me on.
Can I be honest with you too, man? Just got to throw this out here. I don't know if you know this, but since you're a black guy, tall, athlete, last name Foster, we've been cousins for a very long time. Okay? Listen to my list of Fosters, okay? So my brother's, by the way, Ron Slay is my actual brother, so you're in the loop with him now. I know y'all have battled, okay? So is him my brother? Is you? Renardo's my brother. Also, Arian Foster that played for the Texans. He's my brother. Yeah. Or cousin. Reuben Foster. Also, there's a kid in Hendersonville by the name of Trey Foster. His dad, Charles Foster. If you're black and you're Foster, Shane, we're pretty much cousins because there's not many of us that I've ran across.
That's true, man. Hey, I'm gonna claim it and accept it. And hey, that's a great list of Fosters to be on too.
That's all I'm saying, man. We got Ruben, we got Arian, we got Renardo, we got Shane, we got me.
It's a starting five right there.
Who really? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna oppose that? I can look at you and say, yeah, I can see the resemblance. That's all I'm gonna say right there. I can say, yeah, we're related.
That's it. And we ready to go. Any sport.
See,
I like it,
and he backs me up. See, that's part of the Foster lineage right there. Is trash talking, Will.
And to show you how much respect Shane has, I have 2 VFLs in the studio right now, and they're like, Shane's the man.
Yep.
He's the guy.
That's true.
Just had to clear the air and make sure you're okay with knowing that we're cousins.
All day, every day, baby.
I love it. Hey, well, let's talk a little bit of basketball, Shane. And the big headline that we haven't even talked about yet on today's show is Jay Wright leaving college basketball, expected to retire after 21 seasons. Is this a product, you think, of all of the changes in college basketball, the challenges of the one and done now kind of magnified by NIL, by the transfer portal? It seems like a really difficult time to be a college basketball coach right now, and all these veteran coaches are deciding they'd rather just go play golf.
Listen, Jay Wright is a phenomenal guy. I played with him with the USA team when we were in Rio de Janeiro and got a chance to get to know him a little bit. Ultimate players coach, got a lot of respect for him. And you're right. You know, college basketball has a lot to it right now. There's so many options that the kids have that they didn't always have before. I think some of it is a really good thing, but it puts a lot of pressure on coaches because the expectations for winning have not changed at all in any program. And so it's much more difficult to hold on to players, for for multiple years. It's more difficult to keep guys even who are developing to stay in the program because they want their shine now, but you got guys in front of them, that are looking at leaving early. So it's a conundrum at best. And, you got to respect their decision. And there's a new generation of coaches. I think that it gives an opportunity for guys that, are up and coming coaches who they can handle that a little bit better. So I think it's all a good thing.
Do you think that's where college basketball coaching is going? And what I mean by that is obviously the Penny Hardaways of the world that have been in the profession for a couple of years now. Obviously at Vanderbilt, Coach Stackhouse, another guy who recently played, a recent very good player, obviously, at the University of North Carolina. But even now, Hubert Davis goes to the national championship game, a recent player, certainly more so than Roy Williams was, and all of these kinds of coaches. Do you think that's where the sport is going now?
Yeah, well, I think it's about being able to reinvent the craft of coaching. You got different kids that have different expectations. Like I said before, they have so much more at their fingertips now than before. And I think, there's everything happens in seasons, right? And so there was a season for the coaches before. There's a season for the coaches now, and then over the next 10 to 12 years, you'll see us ushered into a different dimension. And so I think it's all a good thing. We got to continue to, reinvent ourselves and be flexible as it relates to how we approach the game, how we approach recruiting, how we approach, developing talent. And I think it's just pushing and stretching us to be the absolute best that we can be. So I think it's all a good thing.
With that being said, I heard Ron and just 3HL have a conversation yesterday with Dr. Candace Story-Lee, and she was speaking about, the NIL era that Vanderbilt is moving into. I think it was with NBC Sports, and what does that mean for you guys and just the SEC and the game in general, man. If you had that opportunity to get some of that NIL, have the influence of that, man, just how important is that to y'all and just the game in general now?
Well, I think the reality is for a long time, universities, TV, conferences have been making a lot of money on the name and likeness of players. And so to now be in a position where, you can get a percentage of that and be able to take care of your family in a different way. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we had guys that were killing it on the college level who, were struggling to eat back on their college campuses. Nobody knew that. Right? Until people started actually talking about it out loud, but that was the reality, and it's completely insane. And so I think it's a good thing. I know that Vanderbilt's doing all they can to get out in front of this and provide the right kind of education to kids so they can handle it with the utmost care. That's just the Vanderbilt way. And so I'm excited about that opportunity for the kids. But I tell you what, had I been able to take advantage of this when I was playing, I might be mayor of Nashville right now.
Shane, you know what? That's appropriate though, man, because the exposure that it allows the young athlete now, and I know family dynamics are different, but I think you've ran across a lot of guys, or even yourself, that whenever you go to a university or you become a young pro, like you're not necessarily a kid anymore. You become what I always like to say, the apex of your family. And I just think, to your point, the importance of NIL kind of helps smooth that over a little bit for a bunch of the guys that go to college with nothing and leave college with nothing also.
Yeah, for sure. 100%, man. You got guys that are coming, and they're the first person in their family lineage to graduate college. Or even graduate high school. That's still happening today, and it sounds crazy to think about, but it's the truth, right? And so, the ability to be able to send some of that back home and take care of your folks and really eliminate a lot of the off-the-court distractions that allow you to maximize your on-court potential, I think is critical, and that's kind of what that does. But also, I mean, you do become a quasi-adult as you get thrown into these kind of situations and have more responsibilities. And I think it's a good thing because, at the end of the day, as kids graduate from college, they're thrown into this world where you got bills, you got expectations, you got responsibilities, and to have an opportunity to kind of learn through that process. And I love that Vanderbilt is getting out in front and providing the education and the wisdom around it so that we're actually setting people up for success, right? And so I think that's what it's really all about.
Shane Foster with us here on JMart and Ramon. Shane, Scottie Pippen Jr. headed to the NBA draft, hiring an agent, and going through that process. As you reflect on his time in a black and gold uniform, what kind of legacy does that guy leave? How will you fondly remember his time as a Vanderbilt player?
Oh, he's one of the best to ever do it. I mean, let's be honest. The guy came in, and in his first year, they didn't make the tournament. It wasn't a whole lot of noise. He averaged 12 points a game, but the team really struggled. And then he come back 2 years in a row and averaged 20, led the SEC in scoring. I mean, this guy really put in a lot of work. You know, I don't think people saw him averaging 20 points a game 2 years in a row his freshman year, right? Let's be honest about that. Right, we knew he had the potential, but to go and get 20 in the SEC is no small feat, right? And so for him to do that back to back, I mean, he's proven that he's ready. He's proven that he's a pro, and I'm excited to see, you know, what he's able to do at the next level. I think it was a mature decision, and the reality is, from the NBA standpoint, the older you get, the more they scrutinize your game. There's nothing outside of taking the team to the tournament that Scottie was going to come back and be able to prove. He's proven it already. He's proven he can score. He's proven he could dish the ball. He's proven he can lead a team. So at the end of the day, it was the right time, the right decision. We're happy for him, and he's always going to be a Vanderbilt great and have a home in Commodore Nation.
And too, Shane, it feels like a pretty cool opportunity that the next step that Vanderbilt can take after the run they made in the NIT will always be looked back as, hey, Scottie Pippen Jr. was the catalyst for getting Vanderbilt basketball to take that next step under Coach Stackhouse, under the leadership of Candace Story-Lee and what they're doing. It feels like this is a pretty key moment for Vanderbilt athletics, but specifically for basketball, we may always look back at that NIT run and what Scottie Pippen Jr. did as kind of being the catalyst for whatever happens next.
Absolutely. You know, I think it was important. It was an important next step. It was important for Stackhouse to get some you know, postseason play under his belt, you know, and I'm excited about, you know, this recruiting class that we have coming in. I'm excited about Jordan Wright, you know, having that postseason experience for him coming back and the things that he was able to add to his game. I think we're going to see a different side of him coming out next season and being able to take on a even greater leadership role on the team and bringing in some bigs. He's going to be able to help us as well with the bigs that we currently have. I mean, it's all up from here. And Stackhouse has proven he's a great person to be able to develop talent. He's done that with Aaron Neesmith. We saw him do that with Scottie. He's going to continue to do that with Jordan Wright. And I think the sky is the limit for what we can accomplish.
And that's what I was going to ask you, too, on our way out, man. Just since Kevin Stallings, nobody's just, you know, done the job. You know what I'm saying, as far as Vanderbilt's concerned. And you know how quick news moves and moods move when it comes down to wins, losses, and coaches. How important is it for the fan base to give Stackhouse time, let him grow this, build his culture, so that Vanderbilt can stay atop and above the line when it comes to competing in the SEC?
Listen, I think we have some of the best fans in the world, but this is an area where I tend to be a little more critical of our folks, man. Whether it's Stackhouse or somebody else, we got to support our folks. We got to support our university. We got to support our players. We got to support our coach. Right? At the end of the day, this is what we have. We got folks that are busting their butt every single day to be the absolute best that they can. We got Candace and a chancellor now who is really putting everything behind athletics and really giving the support that's necessary for us to be excellent in that space. And I mean, you know, the sixth man on the court is always the fans, but it's not just on game day. It's all the days leading up to the season. It's during the season. It's what we're talking about in blogs. We got to build a level of excitement that translates into on the court and on the field production. And so I really want to see us, you know, really not only just give people time, but just be all out supporting our folks. Win, lose, or draw, be there, show up, and that's what's going to translate into guys being able to perform even above their capabilities.
Shane Foster has been our guest here on the show. Shane, great stuff.
Boy,
great to have you on with us. Let's certainly do it again soon.
Thank you so much. I always enjoy it.
Appreciate you, Shane.
All right, there is Shane Foster on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, a friend of the show and a now cousin of the show.
Yeah,
according to Ramon Foster.
Just that last part of his, I need to save that and play that for every fan base.
Yeah,
that was beautiful. That's Cuz O'Shane from here on out.
Oh, we're gonna post that on social media.
Yeah, that's spot on, Shafe.
It's good stuff. All right, when we come back, A man that was probably going to tell us to keep our powder dry about A.J. Brown and about wide receiver contracts. Coach Dave McGinnis coming up next. Speak some truth into your ears and make you calm down a little bit about the Tennessee Titans. That's next, 104.5 The Zone.
Business owners, are you feeling boxed in by the pressures of running your business, managing remote workforces, keeping up with changing regulations and HR compliance, hiring and retaining top talent, handling payroll? The list goes on. And it's Ramon Foster, and I'm here to tell you there is a limit to what you can do to keep employees engaged while running your business smoothly. Fortunately, there is Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help you develop a people strategy that supports your business strategy, focusing on health of your organization. What if your HR strategy included access to better benefits to keep your employees you have and attract new ones? What if they also offered training for your employees to increase their skills so that they could become more productive? There will always be challenges to face in business, and no matter where they come from, Insperity is ready to help you move past them by providing the HR solutions you need. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Bless your heart.
Final hour on the Thursday morning edition. JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons. And you know what that music means? It is time to talk with the man himself, Coach Dave McGinnis. Will Bowling and Ramon Foster hanging out with you. Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. We go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline and check in with the one and only Coach Mack. Coach, how are you this morning?
Will, good morning. Good to hear from you. Hey, Ramon, how you doing this morning?
Coach Mack, we're a little bit less than. I got to go to this eye doctor real soon, Coach Mack. But look, you know what they say in the business. People either glad you got your problems or they don't want to hear about them, Coach Mack. So we going to do this job. You hear me?
Ramon, look, you'll get them fixed real quick. The medical advances this day and age, you'll be in great shape. Hey, looking forward to pretty soon jumping on with you on those 2 days of the draft. We're just about there on that. I'm looking forward to Monday. Rhett and I are going to go out and present the awards for the morning tee-off group up there at Old Natchez.
Nice.
Great place.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the tournament sold out. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people on Monday.
Me too, Coach Mack. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to next weekend, like you said, covering the draft with you guys. The buildup of this thing, Coach Mack, is like none other. I say there is no other season other than football season, and it's clear the way the NFL does things because now, after all that I did in the game, not as much as you, Coach Mack, I just got to throw that out there, but it still has me disengaged. They've done a phenomenal job of being able to just control the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. I mean, it is. I mean, it's a 12-month out of the year event anymore. When I first got into it, we had a little time because there was no free agency and there was no salary cap. But once all of that stuff started coming in, and then just a massive expansion and growth of the draft, it's become a really an international phenomenon, really. Because I mean, people, this league, I knew it was starting to expand. I mean, I've been through it all. I mean, I remember the first time that went overseas with the Bears. We played the Cowboys, in old Wembley Stadium in '86, in the first game there in Wembley. And we went over there, and I was, I'm sitting there eating dinner with the Cowboys and the Bears at the House of Commons in London. I'm going, what the hell? I mean, this might be a little bit different than anything and that I've ever been involved in. And sure enough, it was. And it's expanded so much, but it's fun. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
We just got through doing the OTP live tour for 6 straight days last week to a lot of great spots here in Tennessee. It was very well handled by Josh Corey and his crew, Jenny DeLoach and her crew up there, and sponsored by Farm Bureau Health Plans, Randy Wilmore and his group. It was an awesome thing. Not only talking draft, which we went through the top 150 that we've parsed out, during the 6-day period, but also just seeing the massive interest, in the NFL and in Titan football around this state. It was a lot of fun. I'm ready for the draft. I can't wait to do it with you.
Coach Dave McGinnis, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price? Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans since 1947. Coach, I want to get inside the mind of a coach at this point in the draft process because talking with Greg Cosell, talking with people in the building, it's interesting to know the difference between a scout's role in the draft process and an assistant coach's role in looking at their position and scouting prospects. As a defensive assistant, let's say back in your role with Coach Fisher, what does the draft process look like for you 1 week out right now?
Well, I mean, there's a very distinct difference between the scouts and the coaches because really the scouts do it all year. I mean, they go out. They're already starting on next year. They go out and I mean they really are boots on the ground, pounding it all across the country. Finding out about these players way early. And so once coaches are involved in coaching. And once you start in the off season, after your season's over, then you start getting lists that have been narrowed down by the scouts, by the personnel department. John Robinson and his group will give a list. He and Mike Vrabel will talk about players, and then they will disseminate those lists to the assistant coaches. For the dozen or so years I was an assistant head coach, I was involved with all of it, on both sides of the ball. But specifically if you're on one side of the ball or the other, you're going to get your list that have been handed to you by the scouts to look at, because you don't have time nor the knowledge to look at all the players that they've looked at.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do is give you the list of people, and it starts. It's not just one. It's not just one group. It's from top to bottom in your position, and you start to parse through it. Then you start to work through it as a defensive staff and an offensive staff, and then there are multiple meetings during the week. Most of the time, what you do during the off season, to your question, Will, is in the mornings or afternoons, depending on how you divide your days up. The assistant coaches will either be working on their own self-scouting and their upcoming playbook, and they're getting their plans together for what they're going to do once the draft is over with their players in the morning, and then you start working on all of your draft stuff in the afternoon, and then you have reports that you're required to read depending on what your involvement is in the draft process during the various draft meetings that you have. So the coaches are very much involved. They're very much involved going out on the road to these school workouts. But all the accumulation and all the fact gathering, and really, the boots on the ground, the grind work in the draft belongs to the personnel departments.
Coach,
yeah.
As we're going into this draft season, too, we had a conversation earlier about when do you go get position of need versus best available? Has there ever been a time where a team says, you know what, we didn't think this guy was going to be here, so we're going to take him instead of somebody we need? Do those conversations happen?
Well, absolutely they do. And you had those conversations before the draft, but, just look, I've been through, 36 of them, and I'm just telling you, nothing ever comes off as you think it's going to. It never does. And so you have to be ready and prepared. You've done the offensive lineman for our draft, and you know this. You can go through as many scenarios as you want, but until everybody's on the clock and things start to come off the board, then that's the reality that sets in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's great for talk radio. It's great for television leading up to it. It's a whole industry within itself, but really, it really starts when the bell rings. And then, because once somebody takes somebody, it really doesn't matter whether you thought they should have taken him or not. The fact is they took them, and so you have to be able to maneuver off of that. And especially if you're a good team, which the Titans are. If you're a good team, you're picking in the later quarter and the bottom of the draft. You've got to react to what goes on ahead of you too, because that's when the pods and the vertical and horizontal boards come in. Because about 3 or 4 picks away from your own, you're chumming the waters anyway on the phone line. Figuring out if somebody wants to move one way or the other, either by you initiating it or somebody else initiating it towards you. But then you have to have your board set the way you want it, because you put up a bullpen about 3 or 4 picks away from your own, saying, okay, look, this is starting to move like this. These people are gone, or these people are still here. We didn't think they would be. Who do we like and why? Pull out your reports. Let's start reading them again, and let's all get on the same page.
And, Coach, I think it's interesting, that process and the balance of overall skill versus overall fit into the specific scheme that you want to run within a team. What is that conversation like? How difficult is it to balance that when you've got guys that maybe have overall more talent, more skill at a position versus a guy that might be a better fit for your scheme right now? How often do those conversations happen, and where do you find that balance?
Well, you're always better off. Again, as I said, I've drafted a lot of players, been involved in a lot. You're always better off taking the best player.
Wow.
Because players, it's a players' league, and you've got to have good players. And look, if you are completely void, nowadays nobody's ever completely voided a position. You may want something a little bit more, but you can look. If you're not picking good skilled players, that's a problem. That is a problem, because sooner or later, skill is going to win out in this league. It's too much of a one-on-one matchup league, right? But most of the people that you have, and that's, again, where I go to, Will, and you ask a good question. You go to your pods. You don't just look at one person when you're drafting, especially where you're drafting. What were there, 2 teams in the league that had a better regular season record than the Titans? So you got a lot of people that are going to draft ahead of you. And so you've got to be able to have a group of people that you have found out their strengths and their weaknesses, and they have to have a skill set but they also have to be able to fit into what you do. Skill set's a huge part of it, but there's so much more that goes into vetting a player. So you can't just say we'll take the most skilled player, and you also just can't say we'll take the guy that only fits what we do. It's got to be a marriage of the two, Will. It really is.
That's interesting. You got it, Will?
Yeah, and I think the other aspect of that, and we talked about this earlier in the show, is the need for that slot receiver that can do something different than what Robert Woods and A.J. Brown bring to the table, perhaps on the outside. I know it's a Titans team that their base personnel often doesn't have 3 wide receivers in it when they line up on early downs. But where does that rank on your list of priorities for what this Titans team needs as they look for a smaller, quicker receiver in the middle of the field like Adam Humphries was a couple of years ago?
Well, it doesn't really have to be smaller, just so he can get away from.
Sure.
So he can get away and catch the ball. It doesn't really, size in there doesn't really matter. It's again, it goes back to what you said, the skill set. What you want, because a lot of players now, I mean, if you look at 11 personnel, across the board, a lot of people are playing bigger people in the slot. I mean, basically, look, you can get away with a lot of that. The first thing that used to happen, guys, was with the smaller receivers in there. Clearly, it's harder to get your hands on them, but you can't touch them anyway after 5 yards. And so, the combat catcher has come into vogue quite a bit now, too. But again, it goes to the skill set. And look, I will say this. If you want to talk specifically about receivers, teams, not just the Titans, teams throughout this draft are going to have their choices of some people throughout this draft. This is a really good belly of the draft this year. There are players throughout this draft. Everybody gets hung up, with the top 10 or the top 15. Look, the belly of your draft and the success of your football team is that middle of the rounds group that end up, being able to be, 85, 90% contributors, for 3, 4, 5 years. That's what's the big part of the draft. And so you asked me about slot receivers or receivers in general. There are a number of them that will be taken in rounds 2 through 5, in my humble opinion, that are going to be able to help immediately wherever they go.
And, Coach, on that other side, I was starting to get a little jealous, man. I'll be real with you because you started talking about skilled players, and we'll back that up with a friggin' slot guy. And in reality –
Hey, Ramon, let me just say this.
Go ahead, Coach.
Let me say this. Everybody that plays professional football is a skilled player.
Okay.
There it is.
I mean, you're a skilled player. When you start talking about that, and I know you were talking about the offensive line, and you want to start going through these. I can just put tape on and just go through with people that say, well, those guys aren't skilled players. Well, yes, they are. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's all it was, Coach Mack. I just needed clarity. Every once in a while, you need a good old pat on the back and be like,
Coach,
we
Ramon
enjoy you.
Ramon was being insecure, Coach. That's what was going on.
No, he's not insecure. Ramon, how many years do you make a living in the National Football League?
11 of them, Coach Mack. Probably could have squeezed a couple more out of it.
You don't last 1 year without skill. So
there we go. And we call them big skill, Coach Mack. They just want to throw darts at me. But, Coach Mack, I got one dart in particular, and it came from the crowd. They need to know your opinion on this one, Coach. You ready for it?
All right. Yeah.
We got one of our teammates here, and you know him very well by the name of Jason. Fractures his foot walking to the bathroom, Coach Mack. Have we ever heard in the history of athletes somebody fracturing the foot walking to the bathroom?
Yes. Guys, look. I mean, you can't. He's got a young child at home, right?
Yeah.
There's probably stuff all over the floor. There's no telling what he was dodging. He was probably there. There's no telling what was going on. It was probably dark, lack of sleep. You can't crush the man for that. You really can't crush the man for that. Don't crush the man for getting hurt. Now, you can say that a little bit more athletic ability, you might not get hurt as bad. You can't crush the man for getting hurt.
Oh, Matt, you know this show well enough, and we've been around each other long enough that we're going to crush him, Coach Matt. Okay, when I look at the injury report on Tuesday, and it said he's out for a few weeks, Coach Matt, guess what I did? I attacked that spot.
Hey, Ramon, can I just say this? You've been to dinner with me and my group before, and there's a whole lot of crushing goes on.
Can't crush a man with a crushed foot.
You can't. Coach Mack, and just to follow it up, if that's the case, does he move down your draft board in that case?
Yeah. Does he move down the draft board?
Yeah. As far as if you're picking Jason with a fractured foot.
Well, you would have to look at the box of durability, really.
That's the answer I was looking for, Coach Mack.
I love it. Coach Dave McGinnis, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Look at the folks at Farm Bureau Health Plans when you need someone who knows the health coverage game plan. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. Coach, always a pleasure. Great to catch up with you. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely.
Guys, have a great weekend. Always great to be on with you. Ramon, see you at the draft pretty soon, about 1 week.
Looking forward to it, Coach.
Yep, see you.
Love it. All right, there he is, Coach Mack, the one and only. When we come back, a little bit of news on Titans stadium developments.
Uh-oh.
And it's not really a positive one. First time we've had a little bit of a negative update when it comes to stadium funding for the Tennessee Titans. We'll do that. We'll close the show coming up next year on 104.5 The Zone.
Spring weather in the South can get a little complicated. One day it can be warm or even hot, and you need to turn on the air conditioning. But at nighttime, it can get a little chilly, and you need that little bit of heat to keep your house warm and comfortable. And it's Ramon Foster, and I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs, and they are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They have over 20 years of experience serving all of Southern Middle Tennessee. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is a family-owned and operated company that prides itself for outstanding customer service. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, they offer cost-effective solutions. Now, listen to it. Free service costs for repair and free estimates on replacement systems. And they also back their work with 10-year parts and labor warranties and up to 72 months of no interest on new installs. So be ready for the spring or the summer or anything that may come your way by getting the best indoor air quality thanks to Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They have 2 locations to serve you, Columbia and Lyles, and available anytime at springhillac.com. So go talk to the folks I know and get your house right with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
Final segment, Thursday edition. JMart and Ramon, powered by all four seasons. Will Bowling, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer with you. The entire show name will be back tomorrow. It will once again be JMart and Ramon instead of WMart and Jerome, like it is today. But I appreciate y'all letting me hang out with you.
Man, I've enjoyed myself with you, Billion.
Been a fun time.
You got a nickname and everything now.
My the best nickname I ever had, my high school cross country coach called me Kingpin.
Why?
Bowling last name, and then like a kingpin.
I thought he was calling you a pinhead.
That too.
It's not far off.
That was what all the kids in high school called me.
They called you a lot of other things, which we found out at a wedding reception.
Nice things. Good, wonderful things.
Okay.
Loved by many.
Sure.
People are asking. All right. So Governor Lee's proposal to commit $500 million in bonds to a new enclosed Titan Stadium is now in legislative limbo, writes Nate Rao earlier this morning. The amendment has been deleted from the budget by the state Senate.
It's been deleted.
Really? The $500 million aspect of the Senate. The stadium funding was approved Wednesday by the crucial House Finance Committee, but was deleted from the budget by the Senate Finance Committee. So what this means is the House and the Senate will likely pass different budget bills now. They are on track to do that. There will be an opportunity to later combine into a single budget, and that date will come later. But for now, the state Senate has deleted the $500 million in funding that the House passed earlier this week. So that's your update.
Politics.
On the enclosed Titan Stadium. I've seen a lot of people, by the way, complaining about that. Complaining about having an enclosed stadium.
What do you mean?
You're wasting your money if you don't enclose your stadium. Because,
Here?
100%.
Yeah, because you're not getting a Super Bowl,
100%.
Final Four, or anything else.
Or anything
There is
else.
a 0% reason you should build another open-air stadium in Nashville,
Well,
Tennessee.
I think the debate is, the confusion is dome or retractable.
Oh, it's right.
Right. So,
Retractable
and that's
would
the
be the
thing
way.
is just like, which is it going to be, a dome stadium or a retractable roof stadium?
I'm shocked that that's an opinion.
Well, you know what the weather's like down here. You want to have events there all the time, all year long. You do it.
You do it.
You just absolutely do it.
And truth be told, like if it's retractable, you open it up and you get the elements when it's appropriate.
Right.
But if you want to get a Super Bowl here, you got to be able to close it off. So
I'm
it's either
telling you right
dome
now.
or retractable.
You don't get a roof, as the show sometimes doesn't have a roof on Tuesdays.
No, it doesn't.
If you don't get a roof, you don't get a Super Bowl.
No.
You don't get a lot of these other things that are
0%.
going to pay for this venue.
I think it's crazy the Buffalo Bills are spending
Well,
1.6.
nobody wants to go there.
That is
1.6
one of
billion.
the greatest heists in NFL history.
1.6 billion, and it's an open air stadium.
And you're going to all pay for it.
That is crazy.
So
You want to know what type of businessman Pagula is, the owner of the Bills, in terms of how savvy he is? He fleeced the state of New York.
Nobody circles the wagons.
Oh,
dude,
the Buffalo Bills.
The thing would,
because that's
I think
insanity.
when we're speaking about this, as far as the money that goes into this stadium, the benefit that this city, this state grows from just having this,
Yeah.
I think you make that back with jobs, with funding, with money being spent here in the city. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, where's my piece of it all, too? And I know that's probably the biggest issue.
Right.
You know, but for the House and the Senate to be fighting over money that's honestly state money at this point, too, that's childish to me. And I know it's probably a lot of detail that's got to be factored out. So you make these types of moves. But for the people that I really don't want to do this because we're at the end of the show and we already have Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. But for the people that hate this idea of doing this, but also are the same types when their friends come into the city, hey, let's go downtown. Or hey, let's go to a game.
Right.
Like in this position, you can't have both. You can't complain about it and then go enjoy it. It's going to happen one way or other.
Right.
We're laughing at the Carolina Panthers in the Rock Hill, South Carolina ordeal because what, Shape? At the end of the day, it's going to happen. Or you're going to be, or Rock Hill, South Carolina is going to face the consequences of never having funding in their city, never being able to progress the way they want to. And the thing is, I know a lot of people, I miss the old days types. But guess what? the old days for a reason. We get dated, all of us do.
Right.
Like, I say all that to say it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the speed at which it's already moved tells you all that you need to know at this point.
Well, and let's add this real quick. When you look at the Buffalo situation and the Nashville situation, Pegula had all the leverage in this situation because he can just be like, all right, we're out. This team's going to be out of here. He had that threat looming over Buffalo. Has a team right now that is unequivocally a Super Bowl contender. There's no question about that. So he could say, look, this is how we're going to do this. The fact of the matter for New York is, how do you not make that a domed stadium so you can recoup some of that money?
It's crazy.
Whereas here in Nashville, well, look, I am not the biggest fan of public funding for stadiums and for situations like this. I don't think a lot of people are. And I think there are ways that it needs to be done in terms of the tax burden. You know, a very indirect way how a new stadium helps the profile of your city. People want to move here, and it helps out with your property value.
Right.
That's part of it as well. Now, that's way further out.
That's an abstract thought of it's not an exact number.
You're getting a Super Bowl. With the appeal of this city and the hotels and everything that's growing here, you're going to have so many events at this venue with it being enclosed that in terms of the cost-benefit analysis, it's way more in favor of getting it done than not doing it. If I was a resident in the state of New York and what just happened up there with Buffalo, I would have lost my mind and said, I'll see you later. Leave if this is the deal that we have to agree with. But that's not the situation in this case at all.
To your point about the hotels, again, people in the towns that you live in, look around. How many Hampton Inn? How many long stays? How many whatever Hiltons have gone up within the last 5 years off of every exit in this city? They have been preparing for this moment for years.
It's crazy. No doubt. Fun show today. Appreciate Steve Palazzolo hanging out, Coach Dave McGinnis as well, Shane Foster, all the callers for Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. We are out of time. Buck Rising, you heard him earlier yelling about DVRing sports. He'll be yelling about other topics for the next 3 hours. 10 to 1 coming up next. JMart back at it tomorrow. Enjoyed it. And we'll do it again soon.
Man had a 3-day IR. He's back. But remember, Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.
Bobby Tree.